Welcome to another episode of the Strange Motion Way podcast. I'm your host, Tim Strange, along with my first wife,
Carrie Strange.
And Axel is running around. This one is probably going to not be a short interview. That's why we have so many beverages. One, he is one of our biggest supporters. He usually listens. He gives some feedback. I wouldn't say critic, but
feedback is good.
He was a critic on our last podcast that he listened to, Ryan Evans, because we were mentioning all the BMX people that are in the hot rod industry. And we forgot this guy. So it's like, okay, we've been talking about getting him on. Let's get you on next week. So we are.
Yep.
Yeah,
car designer.
The guys you mentioned don't even race.
Anymore.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And you still do, right. He's a car designer, which has won many industry big awards, including Street Machine of the Year. We're going to talk about all this. He's an artist, t-shirt designer. He has a wheel company, a BMXer, past current BMXer, and all-around good guy. We call him Uncle Jay. And welcome tonight, Jason Rushforth.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, we just call you Uncle Jay. And you call me what?
Big Daddy.
Wait. Okay.
Depends on when it is.
When you talk to my wife, do you call me asshole? Have you heard the joke that our good friend Zane Cullen, which, if I remember right, at SEMA, you're the one that introduced me to Zane.
You're welcome.
I think you take credit for that, or I should punch you the next time. But Zane, if you've ever seen that movie Multiplicity from the 90s, where Michael Keaton clones himself, then the clones himself, then the clone. So it's like a copy of a copy of a copy. Gets weaker as the copy goes on.
Yeah.
So number 3, right? Was it 4? 3 is not quite right in the head. I caught her and Zane calling me number 3.
No, they call you number 4.
Oh, number 4 is the copy of a copy. Yeah. They've been calling me number 4 behind my back for years. My supposedly good buddy and my wife. That's rude, isn't it?
Very.
It's true. Most of the time.
So let's go back to young Jason Rushforth as a young schoolboy. What kind of stuff were you into in school?
Cars and bikes. And art.
Did you take art classes at school?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and in junior high, I had a great art teacher.
So tell people about your school that you went to. It's a famous school.
Yeah. Stadium High School in Tacoma, Washington, the set of 10 Things I Hate About You. It was originally built to be the nicest hotel in Washington State. And when it was 90% done, they ran out of money in a recession in 1881 and just mothballed the whole thing, 90% done. This insane, beautiful, big brick castle just sitting there on a cliff overlooking Puget Sound, empty. And they actually started tearing it down to recycle the bricks that had been custom made and imported from Rome just to make railroad depots around the Northwest, just to recycle it. And they stopped the demolition within days of it starting and made it into a school in 1903.
And I'm going to say it's got, of any place that I've ever seen pictures, I'm not a big sports guy, so I could be proven wrong, but the coolest football, I don't want to call it a stadium, because in that movie, it's got the steps and it opens up and the bay is right there. Like you can see sea creatures.
Yeah.
Swimming in the ocean. They call it
Stadium High School. And ESPN and Sports Illustrated both put it on their top 10 lists of places to watch and play a football game in the world.
Allegedly, we have broke into part of that school and climbed a fence or slid underneath. It's way past.
But
it's past 7 years.
Yeah, it was way past.
Chad Terhar and Tasha. And Tasha was at that time what was she?
She works with prison system.
Yeah, when you get out of prison and you have to go and report.
Detention officer?
Parole officer.
Yeah. But she had a badge. So she's like, it's okay, I got a badge. And we're like, it's not really that type of badge. But Remember that? We carried Chad up
Yeah.
the steps and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good time. That was when
Yeah.
we came out shortly after we built Chad Terhar's car on Search and Restore, and we surprised him.
Yeah.
And came out, and you took us around to all the local areas. So yeah, it was cool. Okay, let's go back. We talked about your school, and were you in any school sports?
No.
Just
No.
just BMXer at that time.
Yep.
How old were you when you started racing BMX?
10, I think. I bought an FMF from a kid in elementary school, and my dad helped me paint it and put it all together with parts that I saved up for, and then broke it on the chain stays where they always break. And
Were an FMF, were they aluminum or were they chromoly? I forget.
it was identical to a Ray Sink, except there was a hole in the gusset. And I think Ray Sink bought all their tooling and started making Ray Sink, and FMF just went back to motorcycles.
So then they were aluminum then?
Yeah, sorry. They were aluminum and
Okay.
looked identical to a Ray Sink.
Okay.
And they always snapped on the chain stays, even though I was 100 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah.
And my grandpa welded it up for me, and went back, raced it another season, and then got a hutch.
Nice.
Where I was from in the Midwest, if you had a hutch, you might have been a rich kid.
I was not a rich kid.
I raced the guy that he was fast that went to your school. He had a hutch, but he didn't buy it new. But the hutches were like
The Erickson?
I was a no Cantwell.
Oh,
His mom it had hutch hubs, hutch cranks, I think hutch pedals. He went to college. His mom sold on a yard sale for $25.
Oh my god!
That's like a $10,000 bicycle now.
Yeah. I wasn't strong enough to need hutch parts, or wealthy enough to buy hutch parts, so I just had the frame and fork, and then kind of piecemealed it with little guy stuff.
When did you turn expert as a young kid?
I didn't.
Yeah.
And it haunted me for 25 years until I came back as an adult and dove in.
Yeah. We had trouble turning I didn't race a lot of big races, and I didn't do that good. I did okay in nationals on my cruiser, but there was a whole bunch of us that were pretty quick intermediates, and our locals, we just always hand them, oh, it's this guy's winning this week. I mean, not on purpose. So we finally, like, when we were all like 16, we just all turned expert. It wasn't the greatest idea. It was fine for our local track, but when we went to a national, it's like, whoa. But yeah. So how long did you race? How old did you when you took BMXers never quit? We take a break. So when you took your first break, how old were you then?
14. Yeah, okay. 14. And then picked it back up at 39.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it raced cruiser and expert as an adult.
So your tracks that were out there, were they ABA or ABA?
Okay.
Yeah.
There was one NBL track, but I didn't race there. Just raced ABA.
So did you race at some of the tracks that was ran by Hall of Famer Gary Ellis Sr.?
Yeah, everybody did.
Did he run more than one track or just one track?
Mainly just River Valley, which is still there and was almost underwater last week. It's right next to a river, hence the name. And the indoor track that you guys went to with me, that closed for the first, for the second time since 1980. Just last year was its last race. So those two tracks have been here since around 1979, 80. And then there's a handful of other ones around the area that are somewhat newer.
So SeaTac's up by you, right?
Yeah, and that's one of the OG tracks, but they moved the track and the configuration a few hundred yards away from its original location.
That area, SeaTac, is almost as like the champions that are still coming out of there are almost like Orange County used to be.
Yeah.
Like Chonday is a SeaTac local that just won his second amateur title, going pro next year.
Jill Kittner's family ran it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And there was some. Are the girls? Are they there? No,
the
they're
Van Ogles. That was their
Yeah,
local
the Van
track.
Ogles. There was somebody else that won a title or was up for a title this year because I worked for Flow Racing and did all the amateur up for the amateur interviews, a 2 hour live show.
Yeah.
And I know there was at least a couple. I mean, we had interviewed the top 15 at shop with titles and are there. And I know there was a couple other SeaTac locals because I tried to remember what's your local track. It's always kind of neat to know that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of heavy hitters out of the Northwest, and it helps
So
having an indoor track.
when you were growing up as a BMXer, who was the local heavy hitters? Like you, do you remember watching Gary Ellis
Oh, totally.
ride? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The GOAT. Um, Daryl Young would come up from Oregon all the time. Bart
Oh
McDaniel
wow. I never got to
was,
see Daryl Young ride.
yeah, he was a ripper. You remember those crappy little super jumps that you could buy out of the back of the magazine?
Mm-hmm.
And somebody set one up in the parking lot at a state race, and we were all taking turns hitting it. And he came along and hit it and just went twice as far as any of us.
With style.
Oh yeah, yeah. Laid it out flat and everything. Bart McDaniel was a local heavy hitter, the youngest AA pro in ABA history. And Troy Daniels rode for Kuwahara and then ran Kuwahara recently.
Mm-hmm.
Brad Moore rode for Hutch. JG Garanzik rode for Hutch and GT. We had a bunch of factory guys up here. A lot of really fast people. And
Did you ever get on like a bike shop team or anything like that when you were riding?
Yeah, yeah. That's why I wound up with a Hutch, is because my dad owned a bike shop.
Oh, your dad owned the bike shop?
Yeah.
I did not. I did all these years. I don't think I ever knew that.
Yeah, he owned a bike shop.
What was the bike shop name?
Federal Way Bike.
Oh.
And he had a little team. We were kind of the bad news bears of the local BMX scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a shop that opened simultaneously to him, like the grand openings within 30 days. And neither one of them knew about each other until they hung their signs the week before they each opened, days apart. And he was like the heavy hitter BMX team that cultivated just a crew. And then my dad, got the Bad News Bears. and he focused his business model on more of like family bikes, knowing that racing couldn't carry him, especially with this guy right down the street. So he had like one of the first mountain bikes in the state and started that whole thing right when it was coming out, when they still had like 10-speed forks and cantilever brakes, and road bikes and family bikes, and then a little corner for BMX. And we had a little ragtag team of fun guys, and we'd ride around the shop.
So as a BMXer, that you'll fully support this idea. Not everybody can, but some people are like, "Oh man, you build hot rods for a living, or you're in the hot rod industry. That's a dream job." And I'm like, "Yeah, it can be, but my dream job is if I could have an '80s BMX freestyle bike shop.
That would be
like
awesome.
I would still like a bike shop that support, but if you could sell BMX stuff, but the market's not as BMX is still big, but to have a bike shop because everybody buys crap on the internet now.
Yeah.
So I guess moral of the story, we have a good Trek bike shop over in Columbia. Support your local mom and pop bike shops, man. There used to be everywhere. There were Schwinn shops, or even our Schwinn shop had BMX section, and our local bike shop that everything was upstairs and the BMX was in the basement. That's where Rick Molinterno from Standard ran in high school. And I got bikes that I bought from him. And that era of 80s bike shops with the cool teenager running the BMX, that would be a dream. Like if I could go back and have a bike shop in that era, would be cool. You go with me.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah, that'd be so fun. Yeah.
Yeah. The shops were like where they would sell skateboards too, and then they're playing Search for Animal Chin, or what was it Road Fools was the BMX travel videos and stuff, or playing them in the corner so the kids have a place to hang out after school. I mean, that would just be a dream. Yeah.
There was a shop like that in Tacoma that had a half pipe.
Oh wow.
Yeah. That was what I got into after I faded out of racing. I got a Harlow Master, and some friends and I built a half pipe in a friend's backyard. His mom thought she'd get a little free landscaping out of it, and we'd lose interest before it was done.
Mhm.
and she had no idea. We built this monstrosity, like full on X Games size half pipe, and just sessioned it daily. And
Right.
she put up with it. She was a good sport.
Yeah. Yeah. Now with people was scared of insurance and all that, that killed like the backyard half
Yeah,
pipes and skate ramps and all that
yeah.
stuff. That
To this day, we can't imagine what she was thinking and what she thought after we were done with it, and this monstrosity. And then we got a hold of some free paint, painted the whole thing baby blue. It was ridiculous.
well, because there was a blue half pipe. It was always in BMX action and freestyle all the time. That's
Yeah.
probably why you painted it blue, wasn't
No, we just got free blue paint.
it? So how long did you ride freestyle after you were done racing?
Quite a while. I had the master until I was like 32 or 3.
Hmm.
And then it got stolen, and then I just kind of rode mountain bikes and got on a bike when I could, but it wasn't lifestyle yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then at 39, met up with some old friends that used to race, and we got the balls to go back. And turned out there's a huge local adult scene, as you know, here in the Northwest, and we were quickly indoctrinated to the group and
Yeah,
given our first.
people that aren't lifelong BMXers like all of us obviously are, they laugh. Like, what do you mean? You're still riding BMX bikes?
Yeah,
They
right.
have,
Kids bikes.
so like Archibald,
Yeah.
did he win the national title once or almost won the national title?
A few times. Or no, he tried to get everything.
But he was close to winning the overall cruiser title.
Yeah.
That, not just his age group. I know he's got age group, but rider points. To explain to BMX people, you got to go, if you're going to seriously chase the overall total points championships for amateur, you got to go to the big races and win, because you get points if your moto count is big, your rider count is big.
Yeah.
So there's only been a few times in history that the old guys have won the title, or twice, I think. This year, there was a guy that had the shot of winning the title in our age, 51, 55 cruiser.
Yeah.
And somebody took him out down the first straight. They cracked because they were all racing, but it was Scott Pelt had a shot at the title, because that age class 51 to 55 is still very big.
Oh,
and
yeah.
56-60 is still very big at cruisers at the national event. There's a lot of guys that either didn't go away, or they raced pro and then did life and then came back, or their kids are racing. And like, that's why I raced 20-inch intermediate at the nationals, because the cruisers are no joke at the nationals. It's like guys that either used to be pros or run gyms for a living or something like that. Like, they take it very serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they treat it like a career.
Yeah. Same with the crazy women in Carrie's lady cruiser class, and she finally says, like, ladies, we're not winning any money. Calm the hell down.
I the
threatening to take people out and staging, and that's what happened. How Carrie got took out. That's what happened to her accident.
Well,
accident.
Everybody is competitive, and then
Yeah.
it's hard to get that competitive bug out of there, and you lose track of reality, and then shit goes wrong.
Yeah, because we all get on the gate and we're, oh my God, I'm still 15.
Yeah. I call it the red mist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So back to school. What kind of student was Uncle Jay?
Exactly like you would imagine.
Were you very good at math?
No.
No, not words were his favorite.
Well, that's what I thought maybe. The people that don't know Uncle Jay, he has this weird, like, circus sideshow thing. Can you still do that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it never goes away.
My cat's name is Turbo.
That is 17 letters.
Membership matters.
17 letters as well.
So we used to do this all the time, hanging out at SEMA. It was like,
I gotta go.
We're like, wait a minute. So we would write it down and count the letters, because like we would just keep partners. Like, he might have been bullshitting us, but he's normally correct on his letters of things, and that's his.
So you can say people can say any
little phrase
to you, and you can tell them instantly how many letters are in it.
When did you figure out you could do that?
while watching a movie where one of the characters in the movie could do it, and I was saying it in the theater before the actor was saying it, and
Was that
my
like Beautiful
girlfriend,
Mind or something like that? Was that
I
movie?
nothing that smart.
No.
Funny though, I watched that last night on a plane.
Yeah.
That's no, it was City Slickers 2.
That's still a classic movie.
That is good.
Yeah, and John Lovitz had the gift.
It's
And I
insane.
was saying it in the theater. My girlfriend looked over at me. Says, "Have you seen this already?" He's like, "Who sees City Slickers 2 twice in the theater?" Of course not.
Oh. That's always our little games that we like to play with Uncle Jay when we're all hanging out and everybody half the people are drunk. It's even better when people are sitting around us and they're drunk because they're just like, what just happened?
Yeah. Because most of the people when they're drunk, they can't count to 17 anyway.
No.
Yeah, right.
Yes. So next time, those of you that are watching this, next time you run across Uncle Jay,
He's like,
you just
"That's
walk
on
up
me."
to him and ask him, how many letters are in Search and Restore?
16. If you spell and.
Oh. Oh my God.
This is great.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I brought that up. So yeah,
Yes.
his great party trick.
Yes. That amazes us every single time.
So you took art in class. Did you have an auto program? Did you take any auto
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah, we had an auto shop class at Stadium, but the instructor sucked. He hated kids, George McLeod. And we also had a kleptomaniac that year, or in the same grade as me. And he used the tool library as his personal harbor freight and would steal stuff. And then the teacher would lock down the shop and make us do book work the entire semester as punishment for this asshole's sticky fingers.
Yeah.
And
Did you guys take him out in the alleyway and teach him a lesson? Allegedly.
We didn't know who it was until we had graduated.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or did you go to his garage one time? It was like, wow, you got tools just like the shop used to have.
The pisser was his dad had a great shop and was all set up. There was nothing that he needed.
By just selling it.
Maybe. Yeah, knowing that guy. Yeah. Entirely possible.
Did you what was your first car you had?
My first car was a 77 Nova Rally. So it was the striped kit on the rockers and the Kool-Aid crate grill. And my parents bought it brand new from a local dealership that's kind of legendary for having a wild owner. And
it was a what rally? A what rally?
Nova Rally.
Oh, okay.
Silver with black stripes. And they hung on to it long enough for me to get it when I started driving.
Regular trunk or hatchback?
Regular.
We had a guy, it was in my sister's class. He had that body style of Nova that was also silver and black, but it was a hatchback one, I think I remember. Darren Reed. He had a Nova like that.
I lowered it, put Corvette rallies on it, and put a small block. Well, it had a small block. It had a 305. Then I swapped it out for a 350 and messed around with that and drag raced it occasionally. And we had a.
And that would have been, we're like the same age, right? How old are you?
54.
Okay. So that was kind of like I lowered the front of my Chevelle, but that was kind of odd. People were still, of course, Midwest, everything kind of hit slow. They were still air shocks and raising it. So lowering that, and when you were that age in high school, was that a thing back then, or was that because the mini truckers lowered shit, so you did too?
No, I was influenced, just like you, by Hot Rod and Carcraft, and I lowered it all the way around and had it almost level, and tucking a bunch of tire in the back, and it looked cool. And I just, I wanted it to look like the cars I saw in the magazines, that were all slammed.
Very cool. Did you have a high school job anywhere?
Yeah, I had a few. I actually worked at a used car lot. I was the lot boy detailer, and
Hmm.
that's where I got my Corvette rallies. A guy traded in, or they wound up with a 78 Camaro that somebody had
Hmm.
put Corvette rallies on, and my car had the goofy little 14-inch rallies from the late 70s
Hmm.
that would have come on a Nova or a Camaro, and like a base model. And I said to the owners, "Hey, I've got the right wheels for that car, and they'll fit on it perfect." And I noticed the speedometer's reading funny because it's got big fat tires in the back that look awesome on my car, and probably help you sell the other car. He's like, "I don't care. Go ahead." So he let me swap it out for the Corvette rallies.
It sounds like you should have been a car salesman.
I should have. I should have. That was back in the '80s, and those guys were greasy. Just like the classic Kurt Russell used car kind of cheap suit. Just
Yeah, I worked at two Chevy dealerships before I started my hot rod shop, and yeah, some of the stuff you've seen at the used. We had an old guy in the corner we just called Gravy because we said he made gravy money because he just like I seriously seen him, rusty Midwest up Northern Illinois cars,
uh-huh.
chicken wire,
Oh
newspaper,
wow.
Bondo over, paint it, sell it 2 days later, and down the road they go. But they were cheap cars. They were just making them look a
Sure.
little better. But he never
Sure.
painted overalls. He just fixed sides or maybe put a fender on. And he just had one bay and he seemed like he was 95 years old at that time because he always said, "Don't bend down on the ground. You're going to kill your knees." And by God,
He was
his
right.
name was Jim and he played in the local, it was like a blues band. He was just a rad dude. But he was like, honestly, I think he was over 70 when he worked there.
Hmm.
Just moved slow, just the coolest guy. Oh, here comes your cat. What's the cat's name sneaking up behind you?
That's Bandit. His
Aw.
sister's name is Smokey.
Hence the shirt.
Yeah, best movie ever.
So
Um,
where else did you work other than the car dealership?
After that, I graduated to a real Chevy dealership, and
Okay.
worked on new and used cars, and learned to drift, and
Learned
that
to
job didn't
drift.
last. Yeah,
So you said that's why the job didn't last?
yeah, yeah, and then a handful of odd jobs along the
So,
way.
so tell the story on how you got fired from there drifting, because there's got to be a drifting story in there if you're that's why you didn't last long there.
I didn't get fired for the drifting, but I did get talked to a few times. Somebody traded in a big block Suburban, and I blowing out the cobwebs. I think there was carbon in the plugs.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. The general manager was one of those lifetime car dealership guys, and he didn't like me screwing around. So
Hmm.
eventually, it just caught up to me. Like, it's time, Jason. I know. And
So what did you start? Did you go to college?
yeah, yeah. I went to a little art college here in Washington called Northwest College of Art, and it was like a commercial design degree, meant to put you in the trades. And I worked a car into every assignment, and they didn't appreciate that. So
Yeah, that's what you hear a lot of the people that, if they didn't go to art center, even some at art center, it's like
yeah,
you can't draw cars all the time. You got to be an architect or something like that. So was that your struggle all the time? They didn't want you drawing cars all the time.
yeah, yeah. And they had a really crappy computer curriculum right as
Mhm.
computers were coming on strong. And so then I graduated in a recession in 91, and nobody wanted a green kid fresh out of school that didn't have all the latest computer skills to teach the rest of their staff that were
Mhm.
dinosaurs like me, even though I was, a 20-year-old kid. So I just started drawing cars for friends, and I helped out at a body shop for a guy named Bud Arlen, and he painted race cars. Like his thing was race cars. People don't know it outside the Northwest, but most of the top fuel cars in the 80s and 90s came from two shops here in the Northwest, like 10 miles apart. Brad Hadman Race Cars, who learned the craft from Al Swindoll in Tacoma. And this guy, Bud, knew both of them really well and told them, I'll paint these cars for you. And so he would tell, all the team owners, hey, you want to pick up this car painted? And they thought, yeah, not pick it up in Tacoma and then have to deliver it to SoCal. Just pick it up painted. That's awesome. And so he was painting big time top fuel cars, Corey McClenathan's McDonald's car and all the Austin's Castrol cars and a bunch of other stuff. And
it was back before they vinyl wrapped all the race cars.
Yeah. Yeah. He had this crusty old sign painter who was crazy talented and kind of a Northwest legend, did all of the unlimited hydroplanes because they were all built here as well. And he would come in with the logo on blueprint paper and one of those little Pounce electrocutors and trace the McDonald's logo or whoever's logo with this little deal, and it would just electrocute a hole in the paper, every half inch. And then he dusted his total old school OG sign painting craftsmanship. He was an absolute legend. Gary Ebert. Any Northwest guy older than me will know exactly who he is. And he painted hundreds and hundreds of race cars, and he was a delicate genius. He would tell him, like, have the shop 70 degrees and the car on jack stands. I'll be there at 9:30. And if it's not
like
on
the
jack
little
stands,
guy in Elf.
Shop isn't warm, I'm going home. And I'm still charging you for the day. You just chain smoke all day and let her in. And it would turn out perfect. And
Awesome.
he would let me look over his shoulder, and I kept a safe distance because I didn't want to upset the delicate genius. And he was super nice to me and took me under his wing. And then whenever somebody would come in with a local bracket car that they wanted custom painted, if they even hesitated about what color it was going to be or if it was going to have graphics or anything, I'd be degreasing a car over in the corner, and Bud would say to the guy, hire Jason. He's right over there. Like, the kid degreasing the parts? Like, yeah, he'll design your car. You pay him. And then we won't have to worry about it. And you won't be disappointed when I lay it out and you don't like it. And that got my jump start in the industry. So most of my first jobs for years were local drag race cars because of that guy and an ad in the local paper.
I would love to paint race cars like that. Like, back then, they were, like you say, paint. They weren't vinyl, and colors were still big, and stripes, and just that was a good area to be a part of.
Yeah, truly. And there's a lot of really talented sign painters, letterers, stripers, and painters in the Northwest. So it was a good place to be, even though we're kind of hidden up in the corner.
Mostly drag cars. Did you do any other race cars or vintage race cars or anything? Mostly just drag cars?
No, it was all drag race at that shop. There's a vintage scene around here with some high profile cars and high profile shops, but he didn't mess with any of that.
Do you remember any cars that went on to be like famous, or were like door sampler cars and comp cars, super gas cars, or did you help design anything that like people would known from back then, or like you say, the Castrol cars, those were already kind of designed by factory.
Yeah, Castrol design, had their in-house design department do that kind of stuff. But I would do a lot of like Division 6, super comp, super gas, super street cars.
And those are cooler because they're not limited by the sponsors at that time. And something, if you ever want to make yourself feel poor, go to a big NHRA event and go through the sportsman pits. The amount of money, like no logos, no sponsors on all these big rigs and toter homes and stuff, will make you feel very poor very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've got $1 million in your hobby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, no different than our industry.
Right. The show car world. You know, we think everybody needs a hot rod in their garage, but
Yeah.
I guess to the bigger world, you don't think so. But yeah, it's crazy. I was just talking to people about that the other day. A big car owner guy that's won some big awards stumbled in at the PRI and
A major award.
Major award.
Major award.
Major award. You know, it's Christmas season. It was a major award, and the amount of money that he and some of these other people have spent to win certain awards is just mind blowing anymore. Just
Yeah.
ridiculous. Yeah. So how long did you stay at that race car place?
Just a few years. And then through that connection and another race car that I drew up for a guy that owns a local construction company, I got a job doing construction, to kind of make ends meet, because he saw like this tough kid. He's never going to make it drawing up, Division 6 bracket cars and keep the lights on and stay fed. So, when you're slow, let me know and you can come over here and do construction and I'll pay you cash. And he ended up taking me all over the place to different races. We went to the World Finals in Pomona and races up in Canada and the local NHRA National here in Seattle, and just hang out with him and detail the car and check tire pressures and back him up from his burnout and stuff. I thought I was hot shit. Ride on the dually on the return road. It was fun.
Awesome.
That's life.
Yeah. It was tough making it before the internet, you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's still tough.
It's still tough. What are you talking about? Yeah.
We even have the internet now too.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was really tough before the internet.
So how long do you stay with that guy?
Off and on for 3 years, probably, give or take.
During this time, were you still having your Nova, or what were you driving? Did you have anything else cool? Because you've had a handful of really cool cars, I remember, since we've been up and been around the area and stuff like that. But what were you driving back then?
For a while I dailied a Malibu wagon, and I two-toned the Nova in the 90s before anybody was two-toning, and might be my downfall, later on. But then I had the Caprice that you guys know, like the big body bubble Caprice,
blue and silver, right?
Yeah, it was like a tinted blue silver that we mixed up custom. We just drizzled the top blue color into a Volkswagen silver until it tinted blue. And
we still like those big body Impalas like that.
Yes, it was a great car. It was bulletproof too.
So when did you get to know like Rich Thayer, which we just recently lost? And when did you meet those guys? You knew Rich around that time, right?
Yeah, Rich helped me paint the car. Rich painted the car. I should give full credit. Rich painted that car, and it was all his idea. It's like, hey, let's get your car in and get it painted. Why aren't you driving a custom car? Like,
so if some of you guys listen, are regulars, we've talked about Jason Rushforth on a lot of our podcasts. There's all these guys from that area and spread around the country that you're the pivot man. You're the pivot man. I didn't mean that dirty. But like, I met Tucci at a Good Guys show, but I got to know him more, and then you met him, and then Tucci would send some of his stuff all the way across from upstate New York out to your area to have Rich Thayer painted a few cars. Then we got to know Ryan, that we lost him in a boat racing accident. And of course, I met J-Rod, Jared Hancock through you, and just a lot of guys that are still very close to us, like really good. You didn't really introduce us to many assholes, but maybe we're all assholes and we all stick together. I don't really know.
No.
There might have been a couple assholes, but there's a rad dudes like Jamie McFarland and all them that you've introduced us to that are still, like, they're still with us. We lost a couple of them. They're still killing it in the industry.
Yeah, I've always kind of been that way, like just bringing friends groups together and introducing people. And yeah, they're all great guys, and there's a really good talent pool here of really cool guys, around our age group. And I met Rich and Jared, who was working for Rich at the time, in 2000 or late 2000. I met him, and we immediately clicked, and we're into
And
all the
Jared was
same.
young back then too, wasn't he?
Oh
He was
yeah,
really young.
We
yeah.
all were.
I mean, Jared's younger than us. I
Yeah.
mean, not a lot, but he just
He's
seemed
12
like
years
the
younger
first.
than us.
Is he 12?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was just a pup and hang out at Rich. I think I knew Jared for 9 months before he said anything to me.
Yeah.
He was quiet and kept to himself, and
He's still a little quiet, but man, he's killing it. He's putting out some great stuff.
oh yeah, and it's wild, to watch him grow up and just absorb everything around him, and like never said, I don't know if I can do that. I'm not sure how to do that. How do you do that? Like he just would dive in and make it from scratch. And like, how the hell are you doing that? You're 22 years old. But here he is.
Was he working? I mean, we don't need to talk about him too much because we'll get him on the podcast. Was he working for Rich, or was that like the first car on his own that he did, that first gen Camaro that was black with like the checkered thing on the nose?
Yeah.
That he, like his first vehicle he took to SEMA, it was on the Ford ramp at SEMA.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, not Ford ramp, but which we all called it, walking up Ford booth used to be. It's like
that
his first SEMA car is like he just pulls that off,
That was a customer of mine that asked me, well, now that you've designed it, anybody that can build it? Yes, I do. My friend Jared just opened up a shop. I didn't mention that it was in the garage behind his mom's house. And he trusted my word and hired Jared on the spot. And Jared went and picked up the car and dove into it and built it exactly like the rendering. And we showed up at SEMA and got it on the ramp.
Made some magazines, and yeah, I'm one of them. You talk about him working out of his garage. There's a lot of great cars that's come out of garages. I'm still adamant. Maybe it's because I have a big shop for one man person, but not a pretty shop because the building was built in the 20s. I mean, it's a money pit, but it's not the shop. It's the talent in the shop. I'm adamant about that.
Sure.
But then some people will argue, it's like, well, these big collectors, they come to your shop, and if it's not pretty, they don't feel comfortable. And I'm like, well, then I don't need to work for that person.
Yeah.
If they don't understand, especially being in the business for over 30 years, what somebody can do, then that's not the relationship. They can go to one of those shops that are in debt with a $5 million building.
Yeah. 18-wheeler that they owe $200,000 on.
Yeah.
And they'll probably end up paying twice as much so they can help support that 18-wheeler.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway.
So when did we start calling you, and why did we start calling you Uncle Jay? Do you remember that?
That's why we started calling you Uncle Jay. Why did we start calling you Uncle Jay?
I called you guys and left a voicemail and said, Big Daddy, it's Uncle Jay.
And then just stuck.
For whatever reason, I was calling, and then finished off the message saying, "Hi, Aunt Carrie."
And that was on our landline that you probably called.
Yeah,
with an actual answering machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
years ago, me and Uncle Jay would have at least every other week calls, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
We don't do that as much anymore because now we all get old and busy, and we used to talk often on the phone. Yeah, hot rod gossip.
Rekindle that.
Yeah, hot rod gossip.
Yeah.
Gossip.
Yeah. You introduced me to Jason Kilmer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just started hanging out in Rich Thayer's shop as what we would refer to as a leg humper, also known as a time bandit. And he wanted to see the hot rods we were building. He was so enthusiastic about the hot rods.
He had to be young back then too, right? Really young. He's younger than J-Rod, ain't he?
He's younger than J-Rod.
Yeah.
And he was hanging out, and asked how he could help, and we were getting like 3 cars ready for SEMA, and Rich handed him a microfiber and said, "Start cleaning." And it's literally how his career started, and now he's polisher to the stars.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. On podcasts, got his this and gets hired by big companies to go put seminars on it's and he still loves every part of it, and he just
Yeah,
loves knowing people and being a part of the industry, and yeah, he's a great guy. Yeah.
yeah,
I messaged him because we don't drink. He was here. It's been 2 years ago, probably, that he come, and I brought him in because I missed him, and helped me put the final shine on a car, and then I had him help me a little bit on the Chevelle, and in the night, a lot of people have a beer. I was like, well, I'll take you to the liquor store. You can get your own beer. I'm not buying you beer. I mean, we're cooking, we're eating at the house. We don't have time to go out and eat. And he bought a case of beer. He was here for a little over a week, maybe. And it's been 2 years. That's maybe how little amount of friends we have, or little amount of people that come to our house. There's still 2 leftover beers from him in our garage fridge.
Yep.
I'm impressed that he killed 22 beers.
Maybe it was a 12-pack.
Tim doesn't know anything about beer.
Yeah,
so.
it might have only been a 12. I don't think it was a case.
No, I think it was. Yeah.
We don't want to make him sound like an alcoholic. Let's go with a 12-pack, and maybe he had a couple beers a night or something like that. But there's 2 or 3 beers in the fridge.
I think maybe my brother might have had one.
Might have had one. So there's 2 or 3 still out in the garage, and he's like, "Well, just save them for the next time." But yeah, we have not had hardly anybody come by, but maybe your brother, to drink a beer at the house since Uncle Kilmer's been here 2 years ago.
Nice.
Maybe we need friends. None of our friends live close.
Nope.
Yeah, that's the pitfalls of this industry. We've got friends everywhere except home.
Yep. Yeah, right. That's why we love to go to PRI so much, is the people.
Yeah.
We get to see our people. I never get to see anybody at SEMA anymore.
It took me an hour to get to the bathroom that I could see, because it's like, okay, talk to somebody for 10 minutes, walk a little bit, okay. 20 more steps, I see somebody else. Next year, I told somebody I was just going to wear Depends, so then I don't have to worry about trying to make it to the bathroom. I'm at that age, you'll be okay.
Yeah. Do you ever come out to PRI?
I haven't. The thought of Indiana in December just doesn't sound good.
We were there the first 2 days, it wasn't bad. Then we left before the snow hit, and it got, snow and single digits as they were pulling race cars out of the building.
You just stay at the Marriott or the Westin that are downtown, then you don't have to go outside.
Yeah.
So then you're inside.
Should have gone when it was in Florida.
Yeah, we never went when it was
We never did that.
It's the racing capital in Indy, so it makes sense.
No, it makes sense. I actually went when it was in Reno in the 90s.
Okay.
And got Smokey Unick's autograph.
No.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a huge. I guess I collect some stuff. So I got a card with John Force and all of his new drivers signed, and Linda Vaughn was there, so I got a couple posters I didn't have from Linda Vaughn, Miss Hurst, signed this weekend. So yeah.
But we did kind of jump around. Okay, so let's go back. So
we jump out.
Yeah. All right. So you were working with the construction guy.
Yeah, and then let's see. There's a through line here where I did a local show in the Tacoma Dome. There was a local promoter named Chaz Martin who put on a big indoor show in the Tacoma Dome every year.
What was his name?
Chaz Martin.
Oh, I thought you said Chaz Michael.
No.
Wasn't that the guy from the Will Ferrell ice skate movie? Wasn't that his name? Chaz Michael or something like that?
Stay on topic.
Balls of whatever the
squirrel.
How would you remember that? The stuff that you have in your head.
Will Ferrell movie. Okay,
anyway,
go ahead.
Keep going.
Tacoma Dome.
A friend had a little hot rod shop, and one of the cars that he was going to put in his huge big 50-foot booth couldn't make it at the last minute, and he called me and said, "Hey, you want to sublet 10 feet of my booth at the show?" Yeah. I just grabbed my portfolio and a stack of business cards and a card table and set up camp there. And then I met another friend named, he wasn't a friend until this moment at the show, walked up and he dug my style and got it, and understood my thing and hired me, and I designed a bunch of C10s and blazers for him, and he was kind of on the forefront of the sponsorship thing and bigger
Mm-hmm.
connections, and reaching out to the specialty shops that were trying to make a name in the late 90s. And he sent a sponsor proposal to a shop in California, and in it was my rendering. And again, pre-internet, or the infancy of the internet, and I got to make a name, so I would put my phone number on my renderings. And
Mm-hmm.
the shop that got the sponsor proposal push pinned the rendering to their bulletin board in their lobby, and Kevin Lee went there to do a tech article, saw the rendering in the lobby, wrote down my phone number, called me, and hired me to do a sketchpad article. And that's
That was
what blew me up.
Rod and Custom at that time.
No, he was with Sport Truck. He was the editor of Sport Truck.
Oh, I forgot Kevin was there. Oh, okay, okay.
And that was the original Peterson Publishing building on Wilshire Boulevard. And I went down there, and it was like hallowed ground. It was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm standing in the elevator thinking, Robert E. Peterson has been in this elevator.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every single editor of Hot Rod Magazine has been in this elevator, and they work in
And
this building.
that was I mean, I never got to go there, but like a lot of the people they interviewed for the magazines had they'd been there. Like around LA, it's like I'm sure like AJ Foyt, Richard Petty, all
Yeah,
these people have probably been in that elevator or been in that building at one time.
yeah, yeah. And it was so grand and so magnificent. It wasn't just some rented, office space. It was the Peterson Publishing building, and it was a high
Mm-hmm.
rise. He was big time,
Mm-hmm.
and I hung out with them, and they put me to work for years, and that's how I got my name in the industry. And
Mm-hmm.
it is a direct link to how I met you guys, I guarantee, because I was just toiling away here in the Northwest, trying to make a name, and that guy sent out my artwork, which got noticed by Kevin Lee, who then called me and hired me. And then they basically paid me to do a 4-page advertisement for myself, every
Mm-hmm.
few months. And they would let me just pick a theme, or, draw just weird stuff in my imagination that we wanted to see built, and then pay me for it. And it's pages of advertising. And then Brett Vocal saw that from back then, it was Air Ride Technologies. He
Mm-hmm.
hired me to start doing SEMA proposals for them, and they were building all the SEMA proposals that they submitted. So then all of a sudden, I have SEMA car clout,
Mm-hmm.
and then people are seeing that stuff at the shows, and my artwork in his office, and then Kevin started passing my name around Peterson, and making friends with the other editors of the other titles, and it just took off from there. Like 1999 was my
Yeah,
first.
that I mean, to me, there's less magazines obviously than there was, and I'm still a magazine nerd, and I
Yeah,
memorize them and I read them, and I'm still a magazine guy. But back then, before the internet was big, that was it, man. Like I remember the first time I had a car in a magazine, the phone rang. Like from that first
yeah,
feature in the magazine, I've been running my hot rod shop full time ever since that first feature in the magazine
yeah,
because that's how it was. I mean, you get a cover now and you might get a couple calls, but I mean, not every call turned into a build. There was a lot of tire kickers out there that just wanted
sure.
to talk to somebody, and I can write a book on the amount of tire kickers that yanked my chain and thought we were going someplace and never did. And I'm sure the same thing with designing and artists. And but yeah, the magazines, man, that's like you said, you couldn't afford to buy all that advertisement that they were paying you
No
to
way.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And Kevin's a good friend of this day. We went to dinner at SEMA last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a few other guys that kind of got their start doing art in magazines that ended up being kind of big. Some guy named Tom Taylor, and then
Yeah,
another
Steve
guy named
Stanford.
Bob Harrow in the BMX world.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, that's how he got his start, by just doing renderings, and
yeah,
then they hired him, and then look, Bob Harrow. So yeah,
yeah. Both huge influences for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And at this time, so you're full-time artist.
yeah, yeah. And then that's what led to the wheels. A guy called and said, "Hey, you ever think about doing your own wheels?" Because I got one-offs cut by various different companies for different
Mm-hmm.
projects, you know, and then they make a bunch of money off of one set of wheels, and I got a few bucks for drawing it, and goes in the magazines, then gets, you know, never seen again. And this guy just reaches out, cold calls me, and suggests I do a private label brand. And yeah, how am I going to do that? I don't have machines. I don't have a building. He goes, no, no, no. Private label. It's how everybody does it. I have the machines. You have the designs and the brand name. You design it. I'll cut it. You know, and I'll do a mock up and send you the centers. You approve it. You know, make any
Mm-hmm.
changes you need, and then we'll start making them. And I flew down to Orange County and met with this guy, and he's got a ratty Ford Focus with two different sets of wheels on each side
Mm-hmm.
from two different companies, neither of which are his. Just like, and another tell that something was off was, remember ringback tones when you call someone and a song would play?
Mm-hmm.
His was Chattanooga Choo Choo. And I swear to God, he wouldn't pick up till the 10th ring, and I'd have to listen to, you know, half of Chattanooga Choo Choo, and it's a real earworm. And it's just, something was off. And he wanted to meet at a restaurant near the airport for my convenience. You know, the traffic's so bad, you don't want to go to my shop. And he had this website that looked janky and had wheels that I recognized from other companies.
Mm-hmm.
And but I ran with it, and I actually told a bunch of my current design clients at the time, hey, I've got this opportunity. You want to have the first set of a wheel, you know, and be the beta tester for me. And they believed in me and trusted me and thought it was a great idea and wanted to be part of it. Yeah, yeah, let's do it. So I had like 5 or 6 designs sold to
Mm-hmm.
the first customer for each one. Told this guy, I said, okay, let's go. Here's the drawings. And here's the designs. Here's the specs. He says, okay, we'll get deposits from each of them and wire them over, and we'll get going. I said, I don't even know if you have a CNC machine.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that you would cut the initial designs, you know, in you know, some disposable material like wood or something, you know, where we're not wasting a
Mm-hmm.
forging. You know, show me something. Let me know that their
Mm-hmm.
money is good
Yeah.
and safe. And that was the last time he ever answered the phone. So I had to so I had to hear Chattanooga Choo Choo 10 more times trying to reach this con man, and gave up on him. And all these guys like, what's going on, Jason? I said, good question.
But you never did
And
you send him any money?
no,
Oh, okay.
no, it's pouring
At least
tonight, but
that.
not last night.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And so I reached out to our mutual friend Bill Hancock,
Mm-hmm.
and he was with Bondspeed at the time. I said, hey, you know, you guys are just doing truck wheels, but I've got a bunch of designs for muscle cars, and everybody else is doing just polished 5 spokes. I want to do some more kind of road race looking, and you know, we could do like a signature line and little collaboration. And he said, I love it, love the idea. That's great. And he told his owner, who you know, and
Mm-hmm.
he said, I'll pass. And so he called me the next day. He passed, But I'll vouch for you. Like, what do you mean? He goes, he doesn't make his wheels. They're private labeled at a big factory in Orange County. I'll tell the owner about you. And he vouched for me, and that owner gave me a $30,000 line of credit on a handshake and started cutting my wheels in 2007.
Nice.
And the aforementioned first gen 69 Camaro that J Rod built for his first big car that debuted at SEMA was the first ever set of Rushforth wheels.
Okay, I forgot. I knew I had Rushforth on. That was my question, what the first car was. So
That was it. Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy roundabout way of starting this all. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think
From
what years we worked. You drew a lot of. I know he designed. We worked together and did our first GM SEMA build that you drew for us. Cavalier.
Yeah.
He didn't do the Malibu. He did the Pontiac G5 two-door for us. That's still on my shop wall. You did. I think what other SEMA builds you did. I know we worked together on the two Prague Ford Falcon.
Yeah.
Those had Bond Speed wheels on it.
I don't remember what I had for lunch yesterday.
Yeah, you did because we went to Paula Dean's and this that was
Oh.
way off of our diet.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look around to see if there's anything on the walls, but yeah, we've worked together on a lot of cars that we've done. The 51, the black and copper Vicky with the green stripe through there, which the guy in Phoenix owns that and just loves it. He's going to send it back sometime this year for maintenance because it's been done 20 some years now and go through the air ride system and all that. But yeah, we did that car. Done a lot of stuff together through the years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then you did. Oh man, I'm trying to stay in order here, but you have a good memory too. So then what? Like you said, what was like the first car that you helped design, paint, or graphics or something that made a magazine feature?
Oh man, that's a good question that I should know the answer to. I am not sure.
So
what's one of the first ones that stands out to you?
Like my first hot rod cover was that blue and silver Barracuda built at Creations in Northern California.
Okay.
And it was.
Are they still around? It's been a while since I've heard that name.
I haven't heard from him in a long time either. I don't know. But that was for a Canadian guy who actually picked me up at the local airport in his private jet and then flew me to the shop in Northern California to stay for the weekend and go over all the designs for the car and all the modifications and meet with the builder, and it was a great time. It was a really great time, and we got a lot of work done. And it's expensive.
What year was that?
Probably 05, give or take, 04, 05. And that owner, remember the show Rides, Bud Brutzman's show Rides? And when he profiled another Northwest legend who has passed, Mike LaValle, the airbrush painter, he watched the Rides episode featuring Mike LaValle, who did the flames and originated the whole True Fire technique and everything that Chips used a bunch of times on overhauling. And he called me as soon as the episode was over. He said, "Did you see that? Did you see that episode of Rise just now with that guy? Do you know him?" Said, yeah, I know him. Let's put that fire on my Barracuda. Said, I don't think flamed muscle cars and just the whole vibe that and the trajectory of this car to change it up and add flames is the right thing. And that'd be a real big weird shift. I am blown away by his artwork as well, and think it's great and love that you were inspired, and we should do it on the next car, but I don't know that fire is right for this car.
You're trying
But
politely tell him you're the delicate genius now, like the other guy
yes,
was.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm the new delicate genius.
Yeah.
And so I said, Mike is crazy talented and can airbrush anything. He got famous for the fire, but
Mhm.
he was one of the best airbrush artists in the
Mhm.
world. It was insane what he could do. And I said, what if, because it's a Barracuda, we hide fish skeletons throughout the car? And I drew up my idea and he loved it. And we hired Mike and he came down to Rich Thayer's shop and painted it. And
Mhm.
it turned out awesome. And it was a total Easter egg. It was ghosted into the hockey stick
Mhm.
stripe on the quarter and then in the interior. And it was really easy to overlook. But if it was one of those things where if you like the car, you get drawn in and you want to walk around it a couple times to find the Easter eggs like we do at shows, and you'd catch this, and it was beautiful, just such cool artwork. And being 80s kids, you know we still love graphics, so it
Mhm.
was really cool to be able to come up with some really funky graphics for a 2000s era high-end street machine, and
Mhm.
then collaborate with a good friend who's so insanely talented
Mhm.
and have him just nail my idea.
I'm ready for that type of stuff to come back. Like colors are
Oh, I'm
slowly
all
starting
over
to
it.
come.
Yeah,
Graphics. I'm gonna go a little stupid on my OBS truck. Um,
I love it.
Little Easter egg stuff like that. There's so
Yeah.
many single monotone cars, just amazing craftsmanship and fit and finish. But it's just, are you going to remember some of these cars in 3 years down the road?
Yeah. Yeah. The way we talk about like Scott Sullivan cars from 35, 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
every time I see a Scott car, I stop and try to find all the Easter eggs.
Yeah.
I'm totally ready for that to come back and, you know, give a modern spin to it, not just rip off the old, you know, 90s mini truck swoosh, but,
Mm-hmm.
do something that is an homage to that, but works modern.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's super doable.
Yeah.
I'm going to work some graphics into a Fox Body Mustang I'm working on right now for a guy we
Cool.
know.
Being a Fox Body Mustang.
What?
I said it sounds cool other than being a Fox Body Mustang.
It's not my choice.
So yeah, so I always say that I'm not a big Mustang fan. People kind of know that. And then during the interviews, I'm out of order here again. At Columbus a couple of years ago, there was a Mustang that he's getting ready to be on the podcast. The East Bay muscle car, the red Mustang with the white interior.
Yeah,
Phenomenal car. Absolutely. I love the stuff that guy builds.
he builds great cars.
Yeah, yeah. He's an soon upcoming guest. And I'm on the microphone. You've been there to Columbus. It's a big deal. And
Yeah,
I was like, man, this is hard for me to say because I hate Mustangs. I said it right in front of everybody, and he's laughing. I go, but this is one of the coolest Mustangs I've ever seen. And some people are laughing, some people booed me. So the next day, they're in the main awards on Sunday, and Mustang comes in, and I was like, I need to apologize to some of you people that were here last night that I said that I don't like Mustangs. Just to be clear, I don't like Camaros either. So I pissed off both sides of the popular muscle car fence there. So then
keeping it
that made
even.
people laugh. Yeah, yeah. I didn't get beat up in the parking lot. I know it's coming someday, but yeah,
Pretty big
yeah,
to jump.
yeah, yeah. So then after that car, what was the heavy cars that you remember hitting the magazines and stuff? There's one in particular that I want to ask you about, but I didn't want to get out of order because, in my mind, it had to be around the same time. So even if it's out of order, we'll just go with it. Talk about working with Boyd Coddington.
Oh yeah, that was cool. that was an amazing honor. I was doing the, SoCal tourist hot rod guy thing and just being a
Mhm.
time bandit at any shop that would let me in the door. And I was at Boyd's, after he restarted and reformed with the new shop, and the Led Zephyr was in bare metal, and I'm just gawking at it, and I didn't know it, but he was upstairs in his office that had a big window down on the shop floor, and a
Mhm.
guy I knew through the sport truck connection saw me from Boyd's office. He was a big wholesaler for Boyd and sold a ton of wheels, so he was down there on a business meeting, and I had just met him at a truck show, and he saw me just walking around the shop and comes out and brings Boyd with him to introduce me to him. And Boyd is always looking for talent, and just
Mhm.
had a good eye and good.
Well, he's cultivated a lot, like on Chris Coddington's podcast. They talk about the
Yeah,
people that he's worked with, brought up. They call it Boyd University. I mean, he even
yeah,
kind of gave some guy named Chip a big push in his industry. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Everybody with a wheel brand owes a debt of gratitude to him. There's an easy through line to my
A
wheel
lot
brand.
of people don't know Jesse James worked there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it, my friend Chuck brings Boyd down from his office to meet me and tells him I'm a designer, and we start talking, and he says, "Well, maybe you can help me with something. I'm trying to figure out the last details for this Zephyr project. It's all in bare metal, but there's no lights, there's no wheels, there's no paint design." And he asked me to draw it up, and I just left all like starry eyed and dizzy, like, oh man, no pressure, but I got to go home and hit a home run and draw it up like 10 different ways. And this was before I had a scanner. So I put it in a manila envelope and sent it with a typed letter and, a whole.
But what year was this? So it was like before everybody's scanning an email and everything.
Yeah,
So what?
it must have been 99, I'm
Okay.
thinking. 99 or
So this was before
maybe.
you had your first car on a cover.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'd been featured in Sport Truck, but that was about it. And he didn't even see any of my artwork. He just hired me on the spot
By
and
the
didn't
word
give
of
me
this
any.
other guy.
Yeah, yeah. And so I sent everything, and I was too scared to call and follow up with him. So I just sat by the phone for like 6 weeks. And
Like, hey man, will you call me? Make sure my phone's working. I don't know if my phone is working.
yeah, I got to turn my ringer up. Um, and so out of nowhere one day he calls, and he had moved shops between the time he hired me and the time I shipped the artwork.
Mhm.
And by the time it got forwarded and then, sifted through the stack of mail he probably gets every day,
Mhm.
he found it. He's like, oh shit, it's that kid I hired, 2 months ago. And he calls me, and he'd always say when he answered the phone, hey, how we doing? And you knew it was him, like, oh my God, it's Boyd Coddington. And
So before caller ID too, right?
yeah, yeah. Well, no, there was caller ID in the 90s, but I don't. I think my girlfriend answered the phone and pulled a. Can I tell him who's calling? He's like, yeah, it's Boyd Coddington, and she's like, oh God, and and she handed me the phone. He's Boyd Coddington. Oh my God, and like, hello, and hey, how we doing? Hey, sorry about the delay. I moved, and your mail got shuffled into a stack, and I just found it, and these are great. Like, oh my God, thank you. And What do I owe you? You didn't send an invoice. And so I made up a number, and he sent me a check, and then he always had a hot customer on the line, that he might
Mhm.
have something for. And so he called me a few times to do it in different colors. And, hey, what about this? Oh, I got this guy that loves purple. It's got to be purple. So let's see it in purple. And maybe I can sell it to this guy. And so I ended up designing the gray and yellow two-tone for it, and the headlights and taillights and the wheels for it. And now it resides in a collection with two other cars I designed around the same time era in Scottsdale.
Mm. Private
Yeah,
collection.
yeah, yeah. Pretty incredible collection. The
Okay,
guy
so
just
this
reached.
this next year, fall Scottsdale, you need to fly down, and we want to go to that private collection and look at it.
All right, all right.
The shoebox Ford was in kind of a half private collection there for a while in Arizona. Um, it was the Sanderson Ford collection that they ended up with it,
Oh
and
wow.
then they have a building there, the huge, like Phoenix's biggest Ford dealership area, I believe, and they have cars, and it was in there for. They keep stuff for like 3 years, and they flush them out, and they'll rotate them, put them on their showroom. That's we found our Ford that way, and yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff that you just don't know that. Oh, there's a private collection of all these cars. It's like, where'd this car and this car go? And it's like, oh, it's here and there. And yeah, like Rocky Robertson finally last summer found his Pro Street stainless chassis Kaiser that somebody just went to a private collection. It's like Rocky's been publicly looking for this car for 3 years. And it's like, dude, it's just like 4 hours from your house, or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, I listened to that interview. That was great.
Yeah.
He's a character.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Definitely a character. We see him often because he lives close to our niece. But yeah, that if people don't know, we don't edit and put in videos and spend a lot of time like that, like some podcasts do. Um, but look up the Boyd Coddington Led Zephyr. It's definitely one of the top 10 customs built. Like, who did the design on the shape of the body? I know Marcel built the body, but
It,
who did the initial layout of the car?
Eddie Wimble from the
Oh,
UK.
okay. Yeah.
Uh,
And then there's a good story on that. I don't know if we talked about that with Chris Coddington, but started for one shop, and Chip Foose was there at Marcel's, and Boyd bought it and had to find another customer. So at that time, when you were doing the colors, was it Boyd's at that time then? Because it was done at Marcel's. Boyd owned it at that time before he found the customer for
yeah,
it. Okay.
yeah. And I think he built it for himself, like your old business model, and
Hmm.
just to let people know, you got to come back with a big splash, let people have their
No,
own
it was
garage.
originally being built for out of Texas, not Don Smith. It was being built for somebody. That's the story that we talked. Man, I'm a history nerd. I'm mad at myself right now. But anyway, it was being built at Marcel's. Marcel was
Uh-huh.
shaping the body. This was Foose was not with Boyd at this time.
Uh-huh.
Foose walked in to Marcel's and said, "I would do this, this, and this slightly different." They told the customer. The customer called Boyd and said, "Hey, Chip says this."
Oh wow.
Boyd blew up, decided I ain't finishing this car for you. Boyd cut a check and bought the car and sourced because that was Boyd Coddington. Kind of like as big as Boyd was back then, I assume that there's guys in this industry, they have a list of these customers that can, I assume guys like Ring Brothers and Rad Rides and
Yeah.
probably Dutch Boys. It's like, oh, this guy's not working out for this car we want to build. We're going to go kids don't know what a Rolodex is. We're going to go through our Rolodex and we're going to call this or this customer. And that's Boyd, and
Called
that's how
contacts in your phones now.
yeah, it's contacts in your phones, but people have these collectors, and then that's how Tony Pisano ended up with it. But I
Yeah.
don't know if it was like already if Pisano had any say. He's been on the Chris Coddington podcast of if it was if he yes I want yellow or if it was yellow and then it was his. I don't know the exact time frame on when Tony Pisano, but when it was done and showed and featured in all the magazines, it was under Tony Pisano's name. But it was
Okay.
started
Yeah.
for some Texas guy that Boyd did a lot of cars for.
I remember that guy too, and I can't think of his name.
I almost think it might have been the guy that we talked to about building a car once. He had the Chevy dealership guy, right? And then
Yeah,
he went and had a car at Pinky's instead. And then a couple years after that, he got sick and passed away.
yeah.
It might, or maybe a
Scott
little bit.
something.
Yeah, I don't know. She's Googling it, but anyway, so yeah, that was the story of Foose giving an opinion, it getting back to Boyd, Boyd blowing up. We're not building Foose car. Foose don't work here no more. This is what, and then Boyd bought it and found another client for it. And then Tony Pisano had that car. Like I say, is still one of the best 10 customs.
Yeah.
Look at that thing. And I have magazines that I look at often of that car. I could Google it, but I still look at the magazines when I'm planning a 40 Merc and I want a modern custom of something between that and a couple other cars that I'm very hot on. So that car is just
Nice.
stupid good. So yeah, you tell somebody gray and yellow, they're like, you're out of your freaking mind. Yeah. But what other colors? You said you did a purple. Do you remember other colors? Like, was you all set on the gray and yellow? Was there another color you would have liked to see? Yeah, black and red would have looked good, but it would have been another black. There was a lot of black and red cars at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. I did a bunch of drafts, but because it was for Boyd, it had to be yellow to make his big splash.
Yeah.
And the purple was just for a potential client that didn't pan out.
Yeah.
And so
I still love, some people hate yellow cars. I still love Boyd yellow and Ferrari yellow. Oh, I still love yellow.
I like what Jesse James told Sylvester Stallone about yellow cars.
Yeah. He wouldn't build him a yellow motorcycle.
Yeah, it's the international symbol for chicken.
Yeah. But you designed it, you did yellow.
I'm not saying no to Boyd.
Yeah, that's right. So did you do any other cars with Boyd, color designs or anything like that? Or
I worked on a lot of like client proposals, where he might have a hot lead, and so I'd draw some pitches.
did you do any when he was American Hot Rod? Did you do any art for him then, or was he all the what's his name by that point?
Yeah, he had switched teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why am I blank on that guy's name right now?
Eric Brockmeyer.
Yeah, Brockmeyer, super nice guy.
Yeah. Yeah, super talented.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. So then after what came off from the Boyd partnership, we kind of jumped back from 2007 when you were doing wheels. We're still in the late 90s, early 2000s at this point.
Yeah, and Boyd did a handful of one-off wheels for various clients, and we kept a good relationship. And he was always super kind to me. He even traded artwork to me for my Caprice, and wheels for the Caprice in exchange for artwork, which was super generous of him. And I rocked those wheels for a long time before I switched to my own, and repainted the car silver, drove it for another 5 years. And during that time, I had the blue Skylark. And
okay, now I'm going to ask a personal question. I should know this. When was your daughter born?
2001.
Okay, and she is. I'm not good at math. She is how old now?
24.
Well, 1 minus 25 is 24.
Okay, I was pretty in high school. I can't do that number thing.
That's easy.
And he's in SoCal now, right?
Come on, 32.
Yeah. In fact, I was just with her this weekend.
Yeah, she doing good?
Yeah, she's great.
And she loves Star Trek, right?
How dare you?
She's gonna send me a bomb in the mail or something like that. So yeah.
Yeah, maybe she'll send you a lightsaber in the mail.
Yeah.
No, she was very into Star Wars when you met her. And,
and I remember you couldn't even joke about Star Trek. You couldn't even joke. It would just make her mad. Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't suffer any fools.
What's she doing now? What's she doing now?
She does marketing for LG.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did she get any of the artist gene?
She's creative in other ways.
Uh-huh.
but she doesn't really draw or paint or
Okay.
anything. But
Yeah, I didn't remember if she did or not.
She didn't stick with BMX either, did she?
she did not. She she aged up
Mhm.
right at the same time she got out of intermediate into girls and was just bumped up an age group and a class group simultaneously and
Mhm.
just got worked, and she did not appreciate that.
Yeah, that does crush some of the BMXer spirit. It does.
Mhm.
I've seen it
Yeah,
100 times. Yeah.
and she wasn't trying to do sprints with Coach Dad.
Yeah.
She got into dance.
Nice.
She's on the dance team at Stadium High School. Yeah, and then said, "I'm going to LA when I graduate from high school." I said, "Oh, we'll see." And true to her word, she went, got a
Nice.
job, got a little apartment. Just each time she got a better job, and up and up and up, and just a little hustler.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah,
Very cool.
yeah. It's fun that you guys got to hang out with her and spend a little time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, so now back on the car track again.
Yeah.
After doing stuff before we get to the wheel, there's a lot of stuff that happened when you were working at Boyd's. What else went in there? You got your car on the first cover. You say you didn't do a whole lot more for Boyd.
Yeah,
Uh,
I got a car in top 5 for Street Art of the Year at Columbus. Another local guy
what was
named
that one?
Jeff. It was a Speed Star, but we changed the front clip to a 34 Chevy,
Oh yeah.
and it was uh, two-tone gold, like
Mm-hmm.
a like a true metallic gold over a warm champagne with one-offs that Boyd cut for us, and uh, custom tail lights and handmade grill, and did some kind of funky light. I can't remember what we used for the light, but it was the time when every light was laid back, composite
Mm-hmm.
lights, and had a bucket made for it, and made stainless windshield surround. So it was like a really refined gentleman's Speed Star,
Mm-hmm.
and Jamie McFarland put a really nice interior in it. It was really clean, really slick.
He
Yeah,
should have stayed sewing a little more. I mean, I know he's still killing it and got a new shop, but
yeah,
if he would have stayed in the shop just a little bit more, I hope Jamie listens to this. He wouldn't have 75 kids. Then he have
yeah.
like 70 kids or something like that.
Baker's dozen.
Does he really have 12
No,
kids?
he
Oh,
has five.
oh, I thought he had way more than that. I was like, I would believe if he had
Back then it seemed like it, but he just banged him out. Boom, boom, boom,
literally.
boom, boom. Yeah, literally. And he might even have some Irish twins. I'm not sure, but he had 5 kids by the time I had my first.
Mm-hmm.
Then he stopped and went to sewing full time to pay for all their food.
Figured out where they were coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jamie's a character. He'd be a good interview.
Yeah. Talented guy.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, he and Rich and I did a bunch of collaborations, between 2000 and 2010-ish.
When
And then
was the two-tone 62 Impala with the 409 when was that?
it was around 2003 or 4.
Okay. That was a heavy car. Did that make a
Yeah.
top 5 for Street Machine?
No, I don't think so. I think it overheated and spit up in the pro spic area.
And was that the
But
same guy that got the 62 bubble top?
yeah,
What was his
yeah,
name?
that Dennis McClendon.
I remember. I just every once in a while he pops in my head because this is what I remember. It was one of those because both of those cars had 409s in them.
Yeah, he was
And
a
like to
hardcore W
ship the
motor guy.
motor or the block was going to be X amount of money that he just thought. I mean, he was well off because he had amazing cars, like high dollar stuff.
Yeah.
But he ran a trucking company, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's why I didn't understand why he didn't use his trucking company. Whatever the motor was, it was too much to ship. So he was one of the first guys I knew. You know where I'm going with this? He had a Prius, and he put the engine block in the back of his Prius and drove it back for like pennies on the dollar. It's just something I laugh every once in a while when I see a Prius in traffic, and I think of him hauling it aluminum block for
$30,000 billet block 409.
Yeah, from like he drove down to like Arizona and then drove it back up to Seattle area. It was something like that. But yeah, he was a character.
Yeah.
And then it was shortly after that. No, this car doesn't get remembered enough. It pops up on the internet every once in a while. That red and white 62 bubble top that was chopped, tube chassis that Ryan built and Rich painted. That car, was that a top 5 for custom route of the year or street machine?
Maybe.
Or was it didn't fit in any of their awards or something?
Yeah, that's kind of the trouble with Impalas. It's not a custom and it's not a muscle car, but
yeah,
that
Tri-Fi was that way too.
Yeah. That car was definitely both.
Oh, that car was wild. I still drool on pictures of that thing. I still like the stripes work and the tube work. Man, I miss. Can you imagine the things that Ryan would be building now?
Oh yeah.
If he was still with us, Ryan.
So talented.
What's Ryan's last name?
Butler.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Butler. Yeah, the Buick that he built. Yeah, he was amazing. Yeah, the stuff and he was kind of young when he was knocking out that stuff. Still
super young.
Yeah.
And even Jared, who's ridiculously talented, talks to this day about how talented Ryan was.
Yeah. Still, this was one of the first years I didn't see his dad at SEMA. Ryan's dad would show up every once in a while, and he'd be at Columbus every once in a while, just come up and grab me and hug me. And his dad still shows up every once in a while at places. So yeah, super cool guy. Yeah, Then what was after the bubble top? We can't talk about every cars because you've had a lot. You've had a string of some hitters, man.
Yeah. I didn't do the bubble top. Steve Stanford did.
Oh, okay. Sorry for talking about that one then.
That's okay. Steve's one of the greatest.
Well, I'm going to say Stanford. He's one of the greatest. But I'm going to say he took some influence from Jason Rushforth on them stripes because those kind of had some Rushforth look to them. Yeah.
Thanks.
Go with that. Yeah.
That's a high compliment.
Yeah, I had that one time. We did the green with the orange stripe Mustang on. Did you draw that one for Search and Restore?
No.
No, it's on my shop wall. I forget who did that one. I was thinking you did that. But anyway, it was kind of a weird color combination. The separating line, kind of like the black and copper Vicky that we did together.
Yeah.
And we weren't done with the car when Chip Foose came in and was filming WD-40 commercials at the the Power Block Studios. And he seen that car, and he did a car on his show that I was like, he took our color ideas. Our car was done, and the show aired. And Steve Mank asked him, he says, "Where'd you get those color ideas?" He said, "Look," so he goes, "I got it exactly from the car that you guys did on the show." And I was like, well, that's cool. Yeah.
That's a huge compliment.
Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah.
So what is one of your biggest accomplishments that you've done throughout your career so far that you're just like, this is pretty cool, I got to do this?
There's been a lot of really neat projects that I've gotten to be part of and be great friends with either the builder or the owner or both. One was that two-tone 69 Charger that was in the Mopar booth around 06, give or take. And this guy bought the car in high school, kept it for 10 years after high school, and it got stolen. And then like a month or two later, after it was stolen, a state trooper saw it and was trying to figure out if it was a 69 or a 68 or a 70 because he couldn't tell the difference from the taillights like the rest of us. And so he ran the plates just to figure out what year it was, and it pops up on his monitor, stolen car. And so he
Mm.
lights them up and gets in a high speed pursuit, and the guy puts the Charger in the ditch, and they get in a foot chase and wrestle in the mud with one of the guys and get him in the back of the cop car, and then go to a storage unit, and he's all covered in mud, and ask the guy at the office of the storage unit, "You see a guy come running through here?" He goes, "Yeah, yeah. Saw him run right by a minute ago after I heard the lights and the crash. So I knew he was up to no good. So I followed him, and he's hiding in a storage unit that I locked right here." So he leads the cop to the unit, unlocks it, and lets him in and arrests the guy. And my friend Devin gets his car back, takes it to a local shop to get restored with the insurance money. And he wanted to do it just like his dream in high school, yellow with Convo Pros and a vinyl top.
Mm-hmm.
And the shop didn't want to lose the job, but they also didn't want to make a yellow Charger with a vinyl top. And so he let me be the heavy. And I says, "Hey, why don't you call my friend Jason? He's a designer, and he'll put it on paper for you, and you know your idea, and maybe ask him if he has any ideas for it." And so he calls me and hires me on the spot, and we ended up becoming great friends to this day. And the car got into the Mopar booth at SEMA and invited to the Mopars the Mansion party at the Playboy
Mm-hmm.
Mansion, and in a bunch of stuff for Mopar back when they were really heavily involved in our industry. And
Mm-hmm.
we got some good connections to them through Steve Strope, and he still has the car, and he'll probably have it until he dies. And so that was a really really neat car that kind of got blown out of proportion because he trusted me so much. But he loves the car like a family member, and he has such strong ties to the car, having it since high school. And we developed this great friendship. He actually went to Columbus with me so that I could kind of ruin him,
Mm-hmm.
get him off this whole yellow Convo Pros and a vinyl top
Mm-hmm.
kick. And after knowing him for a month and a half, I said, "Hey, I'm going to this big show in Columbus. You should go with me and check out what's going on. You haven't been in the scene for quite a while, so why don't you come with me to Columbus and see what's going on?" And it was all over. It was like introducing him to heroin, and he just totally went all in. And it was kind of crazy for both of us after knowing each other for 6 weeks. Like, "Hey, come on a cross country trip with me for the weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're a mean drunk or you snore like a freight train or you had some weird habits." And it just cemented our friendship. We had a great time, and just made a ton of memories and had a ton of fun. And it's just a cool car that just started out as any regular job, and I was dear friend. And 20 years later, and there's a lot of them like that. Um, the Nova we did with Jared, that was again on the ramp out of the Ford booth at SEMA,
Mm-hmm.
debuted there. Um, that was a guy that Jamie McFarland met randomly, who always wanted a
Not the
Nova.
one that didn't it win Muscle Machine of the Year?
Top 5 muscle machine of the year.
Okay.
And um, that was in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
It got that after the SEMA debut, almost a year after the SEMA debut. And while we're there, they're telling us, "You should have brought this to Columbus. You would have
Mm-hmm.
cleaned up." And we're like, "Oh man." But yeah, that was a great car, and just got to spend a ton of time with Jared and Jamie collaborating on this with a really great customer that totally trusted us to go crazy on it.
It takes the right customer do this, to make it
Yeah.
enjoyable, obviously to write the checks, but it takes the right guy to trust the designer, trust the builder, trust all the people that are involved, and not every customer does that. That's
No,
why you
no.
almost did a vinyl topped Convo Pro card. But if they trust the process, and there's a reason you're hiring the designer or the artist, and that
Yeah.
you kind of have to listen to them.
Yeah. Yeah. And this guy wasn't even in the scene. He just wanted the nicest Nova ever and let us go kind of crazy on it. And
Mm-hmm.
it turned out awesome and got a lot of love. And unfortunately, we let a magazine feature it that was a brand new magazine. And we thought, this is a risk, but go with this new title and maybe it, make a splash. And they didn't have the coverage that anybody else had. So nobody saw the magazine and the title lasted maybe a year or two. So that
What
was a sad
magazine was
deal.
that?
It was so bad I don't even remember.
Yeah.
I seriously, like, of all the magazines that we've collected over the years, I think they wanted to be Wheel Hub, like Wheel Hub, or like
Okay.
Super Rod,
Uh-huh.
like be a new kid on the block, and
Yeah.
and they didn't have the money,
Hmm.
or the
Yeah. There's been some
distribution.
that's came and gone kind of quickly. It's not as
Yeah,
easy as it was back in it. Not that it was ever easy, but yeah, it's yeah.
yeah. So it was a bummer that car didn't get the exposure that it deserved, but people that did see it loved it.
Yeah.
That was a good one. The Grand National I just did for Angelo Vespi,
Yeah.
that won Street Machine of the Year this year. That was a huge deal. Angelo's a great guy, and he's another one that is like kind of a dream client who just
Were you
got
involved
to
in his
hit it.
Camaro too?
No, just the wheels.
Okay. Okay.
I think they kind of designed it in house and as it was coming together at DSE.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I did the wheels on that, and then his truck after that, and then this.
I sold him
And then
suspension stuff for that truck. So talk
nice.
about designing this car. If people don't know, it's a Black Buick Grand National. Yes, it's got a V8 in it, but it's a Grand National. Like
Who knew there were so
this
many
era,
Buick
like
purists?
it's the newest car that's ever won Good Guys Street Machine of the Year. It's a
Yeah,
1987.
yeah.
And that is the newest car that's ever won Street Machine of the Year because of the year breaks and all that stuff.
Hmm.
And the car is phenomenal. I mean, I
Yeah,
almost think that it's a shame that it's black, but what are you going to do with a Grand National other than black?
yeah,
Because a lot of the stuff hides in that thing with the satin black engine compartment. I've been lucky that I'm sorry, I apologize if he listens to it. The fab guy, main fab guy at Dutch Boys, gave me the tour at SEMA when they debuted it of this, and I'm asking because that I just at that time I had just recently got my Pullmax. I'm asking how he did this. Of, oh, I did this
uh-huh.
with the Beetle, I did this with the Pullmax, and just super awesome guy and huge talent. So that like from the time you just helped start to design that, how long did it take? Because it was a lot of people forget it was at SEMA the year before in bare metal in the DEI
2
booth.
years before.
Okay,
Two
with the
years,
front
yeah.
end off, you could see I stole bracket ideas on how they mounted the radiator, and I thanked them. Dutch Boys guys are super nice, super
Yeah.
friendly. I was trying the paint line thing; they were helping me, and just great guys. And so you got to see that car in bare metal. So how long from putting stuff on paper till done was it?
I'm honestly not even sure, but it was a really long time.
At least 4 years, probably then, right?
At least, yeah, at least. It actually started out at a different shop before Joe and Paul got a hold of it
Oh,
because
okay.
the shop he tried to commission,
Mm-hmm.
they just didn't have what it takes to do a Street Machine of the Year caliber car like that. And we're just
And what was the
over their
thought
heads.
process? Hey, I'm going to build an 87. The year break at that time was probably 88, probably right for good guys, maybe at that time.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah. And Angelo's our age, 80s kid, and you know, already did the '69 Camaro that everybody does, so
Mm-hmm.
he wanted to do something, that resonated from our childhood,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody loves a Grand National. And at the time I started drawing it, nobody had really thrown down on one. Little did we
Mm-hmm.
know that there was three others being built to a super high end. But
And
yeah,
all black.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. They're all great. But Roadster Shop did one, and Ring Brothers did one. All, I mean, excellent
yeah.
shops. But this one is the reason this one won Street Machine of the Year. I mean, is it channeled or is it just the wheel wells are moved up?
The wheel wells are moved up,
Okay. It
and
makes it look
flares.
like it's channeled.
Yeah, I've had them flare it just a little bit and raise them. So rather than try to tuck it, because those fender flares from the factory kind of stick out. So if you
Mm-hmm.
try to slam it on a large diameter wheel and tuck the tire, you've got to suck the wheel and tire in like a Pro Street car. It's going to look goofy.
Yeah.
So I proposed that we raise the wheel wells and, just perfectly surround the tire, like a GT3, rather than
Mm-hmm.
try to tuck it, like we're used to doing,
Mm-hmm.
because those flares don't lend to it. And then just had them kick out the flares a little bit and raise it up. And that's why it looks so cool.
Yeah. And then that,
And then
that
I,
thing won a lot of stuff at SEMA when it was debuted that went on to be
yeah,
Good Guys Street Machine of the Year. It could not win Street Machine of the Year at Triple Crown because it's too new at Triple Crown.
oh yeah,
Yeah, the year break is right. It didn't win, right?
they
It
didn't
didn't
enter it at Triple Crown.
Yeah,
They
because of the year
specifically
break,
didn't
it's
enter
too new. Only trucks can be that new
it. Okay,
at the Triple Crown. I think
yeah,
it's might be 75 and older is for cars at Triple Crown.
they need to bump that up.
They don't have room.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good
Yeah,
point.
they don't have room. Heck, the Good Guys show in Nashville this year is 64 and older only.
Wow,
Yeah, they're calling the Legend where they're doing Hot Rod of the Year. It's 64 and older.
that's what they used to do at our show here.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And but yeah, like the interior of that car is, if you don't, a lot of people don't remember what a Grand National looks like. So some people is like, oh, it's got a stock interior in it. Well, it's way more than
Yeah.
that. It's
Oh,
avant-garde did it. There's a lot of 3D printing stuff in it, and it just really, yeah, it's an amazing car. And then you design the wheels on that too, right?
Yeah, yeah. I was drawing all kinds of different wheel designs for it, and nothing was grabbing either of us. And Angelo just told me, like, you need to flex a little on these wheels and get weird. Okay. And he pushed me, and I came up with that, and I saw it. I was like, oh, this is it. And then showed him.
Yeah, they're not weird. They just fit the car. They don't look like this some crazy wheel. They work. They really do.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That was my intention.
And then is that wheel? Is he letting you? Can people buy that wheel? Because I mean, a lot of people wanted that car. They can buy that wheel for their stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, he insisted as soon as the car debuted, he goes, put that wheel up for sale. Everybody's asking about it.
Are you guys working on anything else new with Angelo?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all you have to say. You don't have to say what. Just say yeah.
Dutch Boys and Angelo and I are back at it.
I think I know what it is, but we won't need to talk about it. So you leave secrets. You got to leave secrets out there, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
For future episodes.
When is that one going to try to be done by?
Oh gosh, it's too early to circle it down the calendar.
Still a few years down the road.
Yeah, definitely.
Because we're all getting to that old. Is like, can you get this done in 6 months? No, let's not do that. Yeah. I had somebody ask me about that the other day. Can you do this one in
8 months?
8 months? It could be done, but no. Let's push this.
Yeah.
Get it for that event for the next year of whatever event we're talking about. Yeah.
We're too old for all-nighters.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know how I did that TV show working. I can't do that now. I'm still good for. I don't know. I went and helped to that on a SEMA crash. I won't tell everybody the joke that you told me where I was working at the SEMA building. It was the best joke of anybody, of Zane or anybody that sent me. It was the best.
It was pretty good.
So let's talk about that. You, every once in a while, I don't know if you're still doing it, you were trying to do some stand-up stuff, right?
Yeah,
You,
don't
you
try.
still
I
do
do.
that?
There's no
You still do?
try. Just do or do not. No, I didn't make too much of it. It's not like I'm trying to switch careers at 54, but I like doing things that scare me, like BMX or throwing a mountain bike off a
Yeah.
huge jump. And it was literally a fantasy and a fear.
Mm-hmm.
And my girlfriend heard about this comedy fantasy camp in Hollywood and said, "You should do this." I said, "What?" She said, "Yeah, you should do this." And I thought, okay, yeah, what the hell? That sounds scary.
Mm-hmm.
And like everybody, I think I'm funny. And public speaking is also kind of scary. And like, if I could get more comfortable at public speaking and be funnier,
Mm-hmm.
everybody wins. And so went down there for 4 days, and they help you craft jokes. They help you get comfortable on stage.
Mm-hmm.
They show you what to do, what not to do. We got a bunch of private live performances, but from a bunch of super famous comedians, and meet and greets with all of them. Most of them were really kind, funny, and generous with their time, and
Mm-hmm.
coaching us all up and encouraging everybody. And yeah, lean into that and dump that part, clip a few words off that sentence. And the weekend culminates with everybody doing a set at the Hollywood Improv.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and so I came up with a few jokes and some bits, and
How long is a set?
3 minutes at that particular time, because there were so many students. We had
Mm-hmm.
to get everybody in that window of time. So we just got 3 minutes, and
Getting laughs?
Yeah, big
Yeah.
laughs, big laughs.
Cool.
Yeah,
I think
no,
that
it
year,
was,
this year you weren't at the Rushforth shop party, but the year before, I think you were the first one when I got off stage with my automotive roast. You're just like, you're not funny.
Did I? I don't recall this.
Angelo thought I was hilarious, but Angelo allegedly had a lot of liquor into him that night
Yeah.
and told everybody on the stage, on the microphone, how much was in his car. That's bro code. You don't do that publicly.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it
Angelo
either.
thought I was funny, but I'm pretty sure Uncle Jay goes, "You're not funny."
Is that one of the first things that they teach you, is you're actually not supposed to picture everybody naked?
They didn't go over that,
Oh,
but
okay. So I can still do that when I'm
no,
talking?
I'm not.
Oh,
I'm not picturing you naked.
okay.
I couldn't do that at the roadshow shop party because I don't want to stand up there with get a chubby.
Don't want to throw up in my mouth.
See, you're welcome.
All right, we have been talking for 2 hours.
Yeah. So, is there any other cars you want to make sure that we mention? We're gonna have to do we'll do part two
have
with
to do a
Uncle
part
Jay
two
again someday.
I would love to. I would love to.
Yep.
Those are most of my career highlights. And
so, how many Street Machine of the Years do you have?
Just the one.
Really?
Yeah.
Any Street Rod? Well, you helped on. J Rod's was a finalist for Muscle Machine. There had to be some more of the year finalists or something.
Yeah. I forgot my great friend Mike Keller from Big Creek Restorations in Ellis, Kansas.
Yep, I met him through you too.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah, really great guy. Dear friend. And
talk about going. That's one thing you wanted to bring up. Sorry, Carrie. It's going to run.
Okay.
We have not had anybody on here that has told the story that time right before COVID that everybody went to Dubai for that car event.
It was Bahrain, or not Bahrain. I wish it was Bahrain.
Yeah, not
it was
Dubai.
Saudi Arabia. It was Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
You were thinking of chocolate.
Yeah, it was Dubai chocolate.
The one and only global auto salon in 2019, right after SEMA, right before COVID. Um, Props to Gary Case for putting this thing together in 6 months. That is impossible, and I would not have believed it if I hadn't been there. That was
I
such
kind
a
of
cool
I kind of
opportunity.
forgot Gary was the main dude behind that.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I know Kerry's
and
company there was going to run the autocross, and then a couple other event promotions people were all involved too. Which you don't know Gary Case. He's Styling Concepts, helped start Power Tour. He's the main guy behind the Triple Crown now. For everybody that doesn't know Gary,
and for old guys like us with magazine collections, that killer 40 Ford coupe with the shaker scoop.
Hot Rod Top 10 Riddler winner. He's built another Riddler. It's actually in the Lincoln Museum, a 33, 34 Roadster with all void suspension that won the Riddler. Gray
Yeah,
car.
yeah. Um, so yeah, it was just an amazing experience and just so unique. Like having gone to car shows all over this country, it
Mm-hmm.
was really, really surreal to go to one somewhere else. And they were, you could tell they were trying to make it like our car shows, but roll everything into one event. And it was crazy. So they had like a supercar exhibit and even set it up like the lawn at Pebble Beach.
And
And
supercars beyond what you think supercars with that.
yeah, hypercars.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
Mm.
I
yeah.
saw Horatio Pagani and Christian von Koenigsegg there walking around their booths with all their cars on display.
Oh, the
And
guys themselves.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. And some
I'm
huge,
not a
insane.
big hyper supercar, but those, I don't know if I say them, Koenigsegg's. There was two at the SEMA display, the cars they had out for SEMA Fest,
Mhm.
and I think I took 30 pictures of them. They're
Yeah,
just
they're incredible.
fascinate me. I've watched videos on the motor design, and they're mind-boggling cars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, truly. And so there's all that stuff, and then all our industry stuff, all the hot rods that we know from the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there was kind of a wannabe SEMA trade show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
There
I
was
know
a
people that
collector.
got here because it was so close that skipped going to SEMA and took their booths over there instead.
Yeah, yeah. And the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia paid for everything. So they shipped all of those cars and all of those booth displays to and from Saudi Arabia on their dime and then flew us all to and from on their dime, put us up in
And
hotels all week.
and then each person that shipped a car over there got $10,000.
Yeah, and everybody
Each
with a
person.
booth got 5,000.
Yeah,
Yeah, you get paid to go to a trade show.
yeah. In a
It's
country you've
crazy.
never been to. So talk
Yeah.
about they
Yeah.
built it. It's in the middle of the desert. They built the tent. They built the tracks. They built. You guys didn't end up running the autocross because that didn't get finished, right?
Something
Or the
weird.
course
Yeah.
something. But talk about you've told me story about how the people treated you. Like I know, like these race car guys. Oh, these big money guys. Just would you like to come to our house and have our chefs cook you a meal? Like what kind of cool other stuff did you go to? I think you went to a local like cruise in cars and coffee
Yeah,
type of thing.
we went to a Cars and Coffee, which is held on Friday there at Tim Hortons.
Yeah, Tim Hortons.
Yeah, yeah, and it was totally eclectic. And they had the Lambo guys coming in on the rev limiter and the muscle cars. There was actually a box Caprice, like a '78 two-door Caprice that I designed for a Super Chevy article in
Mm.
the '90s. And maybe no, it was probably in the early 2000s. It was a Super Chevy sketchpad article that I did
Mm.
that was specifically low buck cars, so guys that couldn't afford a 67 Nova or a 69 Camaro or 55 Chevy could still get in the scene with different stuff. And so I drew a two-tone black over copper 78 Caprice two-door, slammed on 20s, clean and simple. And it was there at this Cars and Coffee in Saudi Arabia, painted exactly like the rendering.
Wow.
yeah, I was blown away. And then, like any cars and coffee, there's a mix of stuff. And there was a group of guys with GT3 RSs and GT2 RSs, Porsches for our American car friends, and they were in the full white thobes with the scarf and the headband, and they saw us checking out the cars extra hard and started talking to us and asked us where we were from and what we were doing there, and showing us videos of them out in the desert ripping the cars. And we're all wide-eyed and getting along with these guys. They're super nice, so friendly, so welcoming. Everybody would ask where we were from and then try to figure out on the map of the United States where that was, and what the reputation. Oh, Seattle rains a lot. Yes, exactly. Top left. And these guys were super cool. And they said, "How long are you in town?" I said, "Oh, the show is over whatever day." And they said, "Oh, damn. Why?" I said, "Oh, the day after that, we go out in the desert. No police, no speed limits, 200 miles an hour. We take you." Like, oh, no. Maybe I'll miss my flight. That might be tricky to get halfway across the world, a day or two later.
Yeah.
But that was, and then while we're talking to them, there's a guy with a OBS body Suburban with the tailpipes coming out between the rear wheel well and the bumpers, going vertical up past the roof with no mufflers, and he's still got like the crappy old Vortec 350 in it, and he's bouncing it off the rev limiter while we're trying to have a conversation with these really classy guys, and you could see them just cringing.
So they had rednecks over there too.
That's what he said. That's what he said. He says, "See, we have rednecks too."
It's awesome.
Yeah, the people were really nice, and people would just come up to us at the show and thank us for coming to their country, and it was just an amazing experience. And then the wildest part, well, I should say the wildest, but a really interesting part about it was the show didn't start till 4 p.m. and all of the Americans stayed in only 3 different hotels, and there was a huge breakfast buffet every morning, and there was no rush to get there and open your booth at 7 a.m. before the crowd rolls in, like at all the other shows we go to here. So we'd sleep in and then roll down to this massive breakfast buffet with an omelet station and fresh fruit and a coffee machine that made all sorts of different drinks. And we just sit there for 3 hours with a different American and hang out and shoot the breeze for like 3 hours.
Awesome.
So there was no business to be had in Saudi Arabia, but we made so many friendships and connections with fellow Americans because we're just hanging out 3 hours, nowhere to be. And then you'd get to the show, and the show was pretty light. And, we quickly realized, like, we're probably not going to do any business with these guys, but this is fun, and everybody's super nice and welcoming, and it's getting slow. So walk over to my neighbor's booth and hang out with him, get to know him. And we made so many new friends and got to know so many people through it, being so far away.
Did you have a wheel booth over there?
No, I went with Mike Keller because he does Big Creek restorations, and then he also has the verified fabrication wheel mock-up tool that I helped him develop for mocking up wheels. Get one before you call me, so we know what fits. And then he is also trying to do with Blazers what Icon does with Broncos.
Okay,
and
that's right.
When he talked to Gary, he said, "Well, I can't decide which one of my businesses I want to represent over there." He goes, "What do you mean?" He says, "Well, I've got 3 different things." He goes, "Do them all, please. I got to fill this place. Do all 3. You'll get $5,000 each." And he says, "Okay." And then he told his guys, and they're all from this tiny little town of 1,800 people in the middle of Kansas. Said, hey, you guys want to go to Saudi Arabia for free? They said, hell no. It's like, how the hell am I gonna run 3 booths at this thing? What if it's gangbusters? And he's commiserating about this to me on the phone. I said, I'll go. He goes, are you serious? Yeah, hell yeah, I'll go. Free trip to Saudi Arabia? I'm in. It's like, oh, thank God. And we had a blast. It was so much fun.
Yeah, we kind of regret. Our customer took Domino, the C10. Terry Rose took that over,
Yeah.
and had a little damage when it came back. Not much, like $3,500 worth. Some cars got hurt on the way. Nothing got hurt on the way there. They got damaged on the way back, but
A
it
lot of
happens.
cars got
Stuff. Yeah, to
that
the other
came out
side
of the
of
port of Atlanta got hurt.
Yeah.
Like somebody doesn't know how to use tie downs in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's some weird damage, but the Kingdom insured everything through Lloyd's of London.
Yeah.
You still cringe when you see it, but they tried their best to make everything right.
Yeah.
And it was just a really neat experience. It's a shame COVID caused it to lose all of its momentum.
Yeah.
They'd
Because
have
year
to.
2 or year 3, if they would have kept doing it, everything would have been a lot smoother, and maybe because that what do you call it? That lifestyle or whatever over there, they don't understand auctions. If they want something, they buy something. So the
Yeah.
auction kind of fell on its face.
Yeah, it sure did.
Well, they don't. Certain lifestyles don't do that. But yeah, Terry, he had a great time. I know some racer people. Nobody other than if somebody got their car totally messed up, everybody had an amazing time while over there, and the food and everything. So,
yeah, it was really cool.
So I'll have to bring all that up when we get Gary on here. So I kind of forgot he was the spearhead of that. So one more car we got to talk about. Gary's giving me the look. You helped on and designed the Tucci Riddler car, the 35 3-window.
Yeah.
And I helped on that. So the story I remember on this, I think we talked about this with Dave, was these people came to you, you started designing the car, you recommended a handful of builders.
Yeah.
Tucci, me, Rob Ida, that's the ones I remember. Well, Dave got to jump ahead because he found the tube chassis, the Mike Adams chassis, to modify. So he started with something. So they went with him.
And I think he lived closest to them as well.
Yeah. And all the time while he was allegedly working on that towards the end, I was so thankful that he got to do that car. And I didn't, because that lady was a very difficult person. But that car's incredible. I still see it. Like, it still shows. It was at the Roadster Show a couple years ago. Won like a sweepstake award. It's tube chassis, torque tube, chopped. It's a modern 3-window of the design that you and Dave put together, and curved glass, and it's brown, and people remember. They're like, oh, that's that car. It sits right down on when it's off of the indoor display. So you're heavily involved in that car, and that car that's got to be one. It's one of my favorite cars that you were involved in, with the design of you and Tucci came together. Was just car's incredible.
Thanks. One of the other brown cars that is one of my favorite that I forgot was for Mike Keller from Big Creek. The 40 Chevy he did that got top 5 street rod of the year at Columbus, and then won America's Most Beautiful Street Rod in Pleasanton. And that's how we met. He hired me to do that car. And how do you make a 40 Chevy pretty? And we just cleaned up some of the lines and changed some things up. And
tomorrow we're going to text each other 10 more cars that we forgot to talk about.
Yeah.
We'll save them for part 2.
Yeah. So here we're almost 2.5 hours, and I told Carrie we were eating quick dinner. I go, this was going to be a long one tonight, and she goes,
I knew it would be.
Yeah. So my question to you, I have 2. My first question is, what is your favorite event that you love to go to? And then my part 2 of that question is, what is one show that you've never been to that you'd love to attend?
The first one is hard because there's so many good shows. I've gone to SEMA 21 times, but it's getting diluted. It's not as good as it used to be.
It's still humongously good for what we're into,
Yeah.
there's less of that.
Yeah.
One of my favorite SEMA memories, we can't not talk about this, is leaving we were coming to the Hard Rock. You were leaving the Hard Rock when Kicker had their big air bash.
Yeah.
It may not be, I don't think it was big air bash night though.
Okay. Well, maybe it wasn't. But Uncle Jay wasn't feeling very well. And it wasn't because he was drinking, which we thought that's what was the case.
Yeah.
And you walked out of the front door and decided
everybody's waiting for their
I thought this is a family show, you guys.
and decided to up Chuck right there in front of everybody. And how do you pull that off in Vegas?
What did you
do?
I looked at the crowd all staring at me, their eyes big as saucers, and just said, Vegas.
I remember it was Vegas, baby. And everybody's like, you can rally or whatever. You had food poisoning. You're like, I'm going to bed. It was like, we were just getting, it was like 8 o'clock at night. It was like, Uncle Jay got
that was one of my favorite
memories. We have tons of funny Uncle Jay
stories.
That
is my least favorite SEMA memory.
I know.
Yeah, but that was,
God.
It's epic.
Funny.
Epic.
I get such FOMO, and meeting up with everybody after the show is so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I could tough it out. I knew I was sick, but I didn't want to miss anything.
Okay, so while we're throwing Uncle Jay under the bus, I'm going to tell another Hard Rock circle board. He comes out of, as I remember, you went to some wheel thing. It was like Mini Kiss played at that party that you were at the Hard Rock, as I remember, right?
No, it was David Lee Roth.
Oh, okay. That's even better. Anyway, you come out, and allegedly you might have had a little liquor in your system, hanging out at the Hard Rock, and BMXers. It was the first time that we seen that Bob Harrow was at the SEMA show because he was doing automotive design and race uniforms, and he did stuff for the Formula One Red Bull team. So he was there. He's a marketing company. He built freestyle BMX. And I remember Uncle Jay, we're standing around, and he just realized that Bob Harrow was standing there talking to us. And he goes, I had all your stuff as a kid. Oh, it's a pleasure meeting you. And then a little loud because, we're talking loud because it's in the Hard Rock bar. And then it was kind of cool. We're all kind of standing there. We're just shooting the shit with Bob Harrow. It's like the coolest thing in the world, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, in my mind, it was like 3 minutes later that he was so blown away and again had a little Vegas in him. And, hey, man, it's a pleasure to meet you. I had all your stuff. And then 2 other guys were kind of doing it too. And then finally Bob kind of wandered off in the crowd. And I told you
I think you're embellishing.
You're like, are you serious that I do that? I go, yeah, but it's just like Bob Harrow. He came to the Grands one year and we had a pit spot, like a save spot up in the Grands.
And stands.
And the grandstands at BMX Grands or tent or a banner and stuff to sit on. And there was some guy kind of sitting up there with his hat pulled down like this and like looking at his phone. And we go up there and it's Bob Harrow. Because we knew him enough at this time. He would see us at PRI almost every year in SEMA, and we talk, marketing for some of the BMX pros we were friends with, and all that. And he's like, "Man, I just had to get away from the people." And he's, like a famous rock star or a vice grip garage guy.
Mm-hmm.
People get super fanned, and he's like, he's at the Grand, so that's his crowd, right?
Yeah.
He goes, if I have one more guy question me as why I had in the 1990 cover of Freestyle magazine, why I had yellow shoelaces in the picture and then blue on my right foot. And he's just kind of like, I don't know. I broke a lace that day and that's all I could find. Like these people like memorized all this because he was like the rock star of rock stars of freestyle BMX, right?
Oh yeah. He was the Boy Paddington of our industry.
Yeah, super famous guys like that. But yeah, he was hiding out in our spot because he felt safe, so people would leave him alone. And I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. Yeah, right. And at that I seen him at PRI one year because he's he always did.
This was creepy.
The cartoons.
These are the creepy old guys.
Yeah,
story.
This is even a worse story. They he always did cartoons, right? He's an amazing artist.
Yeah.
And one of the companies because he designed all the stuff for some of the Olympics, like the uniforms and stuff.
Yeah.
He took his cartoons and made boxer brief underwear out of them. Like one of them, like underwear brands.
Yeah.
Well, J&R, the BMX brand, they carry that underwear brand. So they were in the discount bin for like $5 a pair. So I have like 6 pairs of them. Some
Oh,
I
man.
haven't worn just because I have Bob Harrow cartoon underwear. And I was not lying to him when I seen him at PRI. And we walked like 2 rows because we were trying to help a pro with marketing, and he was trying to give it his. When Bob Harrow talks marketing and sponsorship
You listen.
and how to grow a brand, you
Yeah.
listen to that guy. Like one year he put a seminar on at PRI.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could tell at the
I
end
have
of
to go
the
to Indiana
seminar,
for that.
there was like 5 of us standing around, and we all look at each other. We're all wearing Vans, and it was like his pamphlet that he was using to talk marketing, we all had him sign it, and I still have it, like the Harrow brand logo. And
Nice.
You were walking around with it.
yeah, we were walking, and and then I finally realized, you want to know what's creepy? I'm wearing your cartoon underwear today. And I actually
No,
was.
I think
And I go, you want to, and he goes, I'll take your word for it. I go, you don't want to see my underwear? And he goes, no, I don't want to see your underwear.
No, we're walking, and the way you said it first was, I'm wearing your underwear. And
Yeah,
he stopped.
not your cartoon underwear. Like,
yeah, and it was like, creeper.
Yeah, total stalker.
Like this guy's broke into my house and stole my panties.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. But I was like, no, your cartoon underwear. It's like, oh, I kind of forgot we did that. Yeah. But yeah, I have Bob Harrow.
I'm glad you made him cringe too.
Yeah.
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 That's why we're brothers like that.
Anyway, back to your favorite show and a show that you've never attended.
Triple Crown would be my number one if the host hotel was like the host hotel at Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell people that haven't been to Columbus, the host hotel is one of the best shows you've ever been to. Without even setting foot on the fairgrounds.
They're moving the host hotel in Columbus next year.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the neighborhood is not so great anymore.
Yeah, that hotel's really getting run down. I mean, sure, there's still going to be people that'll stay at that Crown Plaza, but the main host hotel is moving. They always had another one at like the Polaris area.
Yeah.
Band, but wasn't as big. But they're moving one like closer to the airport now, as they're got the new host hotel next year.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that area of town
measures up.
Pretty sketchy.
So probably Triple Crown. That's a really great event, and Bobby and Gary just do a great job, and just
the announcers are pretty good there too, but I guess they're probably not funny to you. So, but yeah, they're still pretty good.
I mean, let's tighten up your work.
I love it.
No, you're a delight. You're to Kevin's straight man.
Yeah. He's straight. I'm definitely
not.
That sounds bad that I'm not straight, but yeah.
No.
I am when I have to be, but yeah, I bring some stuff. We work good together that way, though.
Yeah. They just do a unique job with that show, and I love Mark and love Gary, and the Metters, with Good Guys, and I've been going to Good Guys shows since I could jump the fence at the Puyallup Fairgrounds in the 80s, and so I have such a soft spot for Good Guys and all the people there that I've become friends with, and just the whole industry that Gary started.
Yeah.
Just by wanting to break out and do something different. You can't say enough good things about Gary and everything he did for this industry.
Yeah.
The show, there's probably 2 shows that I really want to go to, but I'd have to say the Goodwood Festival of Speed.
Mm-hmm.
That looks so cool and so fun, and just the who's who, and such a crazy range of cars, and just everybody ringing these cars out up this driveway, for bragging rights, just letting it all hang out. It's just the sights and sounds and all of it in a different country. Just, it all sounds so cool.
Yeah.
And so that's on my short list.
And we'll go together some year.
All right. It's a date.
You say there was a second one you'd like to go to also?
Yeah, probably Monterey Car Week.
Yeah, we've never done that either.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
And props
We
to the
realized
Ring
that like
Brothers.
some of these people have been debuting, like Ring Brothers debuted their car
Yeah.
at the Quail this year,
Yeah,
and
that's incredible.
Haley has done that. Carrie looked that up. Do you know what the ticket price is to get into the Quail?
Isn't it like 1,500 or something?
Like 12 or 1,500 bucks a person just
Yeah.
to walk in, and
Yeah.
a dress code up really. So
Out of my budget.
Yeah.
yeah, someday I'd like Kenny Davis went out there once, and he says it's amazing. You got like going to the Kentucky Derby, you dress up. He says that's
Yeah.
the same way. Even if you're not a car person, that's one of Americana things you need to do. So even as car
Yeah.
people, like to me, the thing that I see online out there is the morning when they go on the cruise, and it's foggy. You can see oh my
Yeah.
god, it's a hand built Bugatti, whatever. Or I really like, and the older I get, like the early, like them crazy brass era high end cars, like
Yeah.
even like a Duesenberg, but there's the Pierce Arrows of the late 20s and stuff like that. Those cars just blow my mind of those. And I don't know what's
Yeah.
going to happen to that segment of our industry. We got a friend that he's won the Amber. It's his only real hot rod that he has out of Wichita, and he is younger than us, and he has brass era cars. And he realizes, he goes, dude, I go to one of these events with some of these cars. He's lost him. Are you still there?
I'm back.
Okay, there you
Apologies.
are.
No worries.
We had a time limit on the recording. But he says, I go to one of these events. He goes, I'm the youngest guy by 25 years of that brass era stuff. But he really likes that stuff. But yeah, I dig that stuff. But yeah, I don't know, unless those guys have kids that have taken the love. I don't see even guys in our era really taking that up. One, they're really expensive, but it's just,
Yeah.
you're not going to do power tour in them or a good guy's road tour in them. So
Yeah. A handful of those cars have come out of the Northwest, and Jamie McFarland has upholstered a few of them,
yeah,
including the Concours d'Elegance.
cool. Yeah, we need to get Jamie on here.
Mhm.
Then we can really get the question on how many kids he really has.
Yeah.
So anything you want to add or thank anybody before we end this podcast tonight?
Oh, I actually made a list
Okay.
so I wouldn't forget.
See, he's one of our he listens to a lot of our podcasts. And he always, you're not funny.
And this is, like I was saying before, a through line of, this guy introduced me to this guy. This is how I met this guy. This is how I made this break. This is how I got this job. And it starts with Bud Arlen, the race car painter, who got me a job designing a car for Gary Howe, Kenny Miller, Travis Moore, Kevin Lee, Brett Volkel, Rich Thayer, Boyd Coddington, Bill Hancock, my ex-wife, my girlfriend, Chris Holstrom, and Jared Hancock.
Perfect.
We've never had anybody thank an ex-wife before.
No, I do think that's the first.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Melody's pretty rad. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we were heartbroken when that didn't work out.
Okay.
Yeah, that was great.
It was good. It was a good one.
You guys will all, if you're our regular listeners, you'll see Uncle Jay on here again, Jason Rushforth. Tell everybody where they can find you, if you have a website or social media pages, anything where they can follow your work, or where they can get a hold of you to either order your wheels or have you design paint, car, whatever they need to do.
Yes. Rushforthwheels.com. And if you want to see my cats and random stuff, Jason Rushforth on Facebook and Instagram, and Rushforth Wheels on Facebook, Rushforth.wheels on Instagram. And yeah, I'm good at answering emails and the phone, and I'm here for it. Wheels.
One last
design.
question. Have you been on the BMX bike recently, or are you riding more mountain bikes?
more mountain bikes lately.
We've not got the mountain bike bug yet
Mm-mm.
because the bikes are way more expensive than a BMX bike.
They are. They are.
We just don't have time.
Yeah, we don't have
Like,
time
we
to ride
can't
that
add
much.
anything else to our schedule right
Carrie
now.
doesn't ride; she shows up and races the grands.
I
Yeah.
ride the grands. I didn't really race.
Well, you
There's a
did.
ton of really good trails around here,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
and so it's a lot of fun. And I've got a good group of guys that I can ride with. Most of
Nice.
whom I met through BMX.
And the coolest thing,
Nice.
you end up seeing Gary Ellis at events because he's a hot rod guy and an off road guy, and
Yeah.
he ordered some stuff after we met him after years in person at the BMX Grands the one year, and then we seen an order come through that he ordered a hat and a T-shirt from Strange Motion, right?
That's awesome.
She's like, and I seen the address and was like, that's the Gary Ellis. So we threw a whole bunch of stuff in the box for him because I was like, this guy's getting some stuff. So he
Yeah.
messaged me and he's like, oh, thanks for all the stuff. I got your address from what you shipped from. Is that okay to ship you something? So he sent me a box, like
Oh,
vote for
man.
me, 80s, 90s, Nora Cup stickers, signed a world
Oh.
championship hat, some GT t-shirt, like sent me like stuff that should maybe be in the Hall of Fame museum that I have from
That's
Gary. Like that was
awesome.
pretty rad. So
Yeah. Yeah. He
Him
goes to a
nerded
lot
out.
of local shows.
yeah. I
And,
see him just the other day. He was off road and then he was wearing my Strange Motion hat.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool. So.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, he's super nice.
So we want to thank Jason Rushforth. This is a very long, it's not our longest, but it's in the top 10 of our longest. We will not break this up into two parts because no matter who it is, part 2 always falls on its face. Doesn't get no matter what it is. So we just leave it up and put it in one. So we want to thank Jason Rushforth for being a guest on the Strange Motion Way podcast.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Thanks, Uncle Jay.
See you, Uncle Jay.
Love you guys.
Hey, welders, ready to upgrade your gear and save some serious dough in the process? The Miller Build with Blue Savings and Rebate Program has you covered. Find amazing deals and cashback rebates on a wide range of Miller products, from welders to plasma cutters and everything in between, all backed by our 3-year warranty. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Take advantage of the Miller Build with Blue program now. Visit us online or stop by your nearest Miller distributor today to start saving.
The Strange Motion Way podcast, brought to you by
Royal Purple. Premium synthetic motor oils and high-performance chemicals have been designed to improve performance, provide long-term protection, and give you the confidence to push your vehicle to the limit. Royal Purple Premium Synthetic Motor Oils.